How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Um, you know, I have a lot to talk about, and I feel like it's kind of funny because we're only like 9 days into the year, and I've done like last couple streams of like reflection, and then kind of like how I'm going to start off this year, and I've actually felt like really good so far about the progression, and I'm also thinking as everyone starts rolling here, let me know if you can hear me, see me, all that sort of stuff, but I just want to kind of like preface kind of like where I'm at this week because I had this thought literally two minutes ago, and I was like, should I should I change like the concept of these live streams to like what I learned this week if I'm gonna keep doing these? Because if I keep on this breakneck pace of trying to like just learn, try and share things that I do, like this week was just crazy. It's kind of just the way that I'm thinking about it, like just the things that I learned and the things that I want to share with you guys because yeah, it's weird. So I'm excited to dive into it. Curtis, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for letting me know that we are good on the audio and visuals. Um, yeah, I have an agenda today. I want to recap a couple of things that we did. We made some upgrades to the channel and stuff like that. I want to talk about. I've been completely radicalized by this idea of um, like like the thesis of it. The high level thesis of it is that you are, as you see on the thumbnail, you are better than you think. And I'll go very deep into that because I had like a couple specific instances where that happened, and I think that my hope is that me sharing that with you and giving you my perspective on that is beneficial to you, so you can kind of like implement it into your own work and your own life. And obviously, it revolves around like web design and content and all that sort of stuff, so it is pertinent in that regard. But I'm gonna be honest with you, like I can't like not like there's a lot of my life that is technical, and like in nature, like building websites or creating content or whatever, but there's a lot of it that like is just extremely mental, and obviously we're all human, so I think that's common throughout. But I can't not talk about those things. It's just who I am. So hopefully you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then just go do something else and watch the next technical thing. I don't know what to tell you. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And we could obviously talk about technical stuff too. I don't know if I could talk about this for 2 hours, but I don't know if I'm going to. So if you have other thoughts and stuff like that, just hashtag Q, put it in the chat, and we will get to that. But I just do have some agenda items that I'd like to kind of go over here and get your guys' thoughts if you're interested in them. And I also do want to talk about business stuff because I think I'm still kind of like I want to move more towards something that's like productized and that type of offering. And I think that we would all kind of be wise to like have some layer of that in what we do, because this whole custom thing is just like it's extremely exhausting. It could be scalable, but it's exhausting. We'll get into that too. And then I'm working on some other projects and stuff like that. So we'll chat about all that. Max, what's up, brother? Toby, yo, what's up? David Haas, what's up? What's up? Stephen Heffernan from the sunny southeast of Ireland. Brass monkeys. Nice, nice. Is it actually sunny there? I think it's normally. Did you normally say it's like rainy and stuff? It's been cold and snowy here in Pittsburgh. It's kind of annoying. So, but we're inside. We're working. It's going well. Okay. So a couple quick housekeeping items, and then we will dive into the stuff. We talked about a lot about like, and appreciate you guys so much on the gifted members and everything like that last stream and all that. I want to just bring up a couple things because I am working to make that situation, the whole membership of the channel here, better, and I have some ideas like to expand on that. But for the time being, um, high level, we have I believe like 13 members. I think it's like 3 paid and like 10 gifted. So thank you guys so much. If you are a gifted member, make sure you like take advantage of like the little things that we got going on here and all that sort of stuff. There's emojis in the chat. You can drop those. It's kind of cool, little fun stuff at least for right now. Um, Real quickly, when we do get YouTube is strange. When we get 8 paid members, there will be a section that will automatically display. I have no control over. I can turn it on and off, but I don't have control over it until we get 8 paid members. They'll be like literally on the homepage. You can kind of like see some of the members and stuff like that. I just think that's like a really cool little thing to just try to recognize some of the members and all that. And then I did make some quick adjustments to this, so we're at like, so we still have like 1-0. Did this? What is going on here? Why am I not able to scroll in? Okay, there we go. Um, so 199, 499, 1499, and then I've started this. So we got custom badges now. If anybody noticed, I made those little things. This last one's supposed to be diamond, but I didn't do very well there. So That's the beginning of it. You get those like I think if you go like 1 month, 2 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or something like that, you get those. It just automatically changes. Got a couple more emojis. Got the gold nuggets. We're gonna need a lot more gold nuggets in the chat as we go forward here, because hopefully I have an idea with like surrounding the idea of gold nuggets, because I feel like I just randomly drop gold nuggets like around, and a lot of times it's not concise enough, so I need to like gather all my gold nuggets, and then just some diamond stuff. And I love saying "let's keep going" because it's one of the things that like drives me. I have some other ideas too, but those are just a couple in there. I changed some of these up, so these are more like just standard stuff for the first tier. Second tier is like priority reply to comments right now, and then third tier. I have third tier right now is 20% discount on consulting calls. And also, I have another thing real quick that I'll tell you about. If you go over to my website and you go to consulting calls right now, I have a new idea that I stole from somewhere else that I saw it. And it's if you go to consulting calls, you can do public consultation or private consultation, and public consultation is 50% off. So that's like something where we could record it and then we could like put it on the YouTube channel. So just something that's interesting there for brands or like like other web designers or whatever to check out. I've gotten several people that we've done this with in the past, and like I said, the public one is cheaper, and you could be in some content if you want, or you do it private. So just some ideas there. That's over at my website. You don't have to do that. There's no obligation to do any of that. I'm just trying to tell you guys what we got going on, because going into like what we're talking about here today, it's going to be extremely pertinent. So there we go. We talked about that. And then quick recap of the week from the YouTube angle here is if we go to, I have this playlist. So if we're on the channel here, we zoom out a little bit. There's a playlist I have. You guys haven't seen it. I mean, you've probably seen some of the stuff though on it, but like my guest appearances on other channels, I was on over on Matt Medeiros' WP Minute with a bunch of people. Big cohort here. Matt, myself, Brendan O'Connell, Brian Cords, and Courtney Robertson. And great chat talking about like WordPress predictions for 2025. We will see what happens, right? It's a very interesting lay of the land there. If you guys are interested in that, go check it out. I've had a whale of a week here. This is my third live stream. That was the one yesterday, or it was 2 days ago. It was on Tuesday, right? And then if we scroll back up here, we also had the town hall yesterday with the great and powerful Mark Westgard of WS Forum. So if you guys didn't check that out, go check it out. I will say that on this stream specifically that I just linked in there, there is a little bit of an echo in the audio, and I think that came from me because I was trying to like stream X, and X was being kind of like a bitch. So I don't know what was happening. Like I couldn't see stuff on my end and things like that. But it's not unbearable, but it's weird. If you want to actually no echo and you are on X, you could go over there to the space. The link's in the description of that and listen to it if you weren't there yesterday. But yeah, so just a couple of recaps of the things that we've done there. Yeah, and then the rest of my week is about what I'm going to kind of tell you here. So I kind of want to preface some of this with giving you the idea of what I was talking about here in the thumbnail, right? And the idea of you're better than you think. And I have like I've just had like a little bit of this moment of clarity here where I think that we're all kind of in this spot from time to time. And I'm just sharing my perspective on these couple cases. So I've been trying to create like good content for you guys. I've been trying to get paid because of it. And even in like the web design space, like it's the same type of thing. Like we're just trying to provide value and get paid for it. It's pretty straightforward, right? And I think for me, so many times I am like, like I see all these people doing like things that are like kind of better than me. There's probably a level of like imposter syndrome in there, and it's gotten better over time for sure. But like, there's a level of that there, and I'm thinking, how can we get over that? Why is it there? What does it like exist for? And then like you look at the other people and you're like, oh, they're doing real cool things. Like they have like a lot, either big following, or they have a lot of engagement, or they have like a community, or they have a course, or XYZ, whatever. And then like I am the type of person that gets like fixated on like one of those, we'll call it like one of those brands, one of those influencers, one of those like things, because I'm trying to like learn from them, but also learn from the content that they're doing, but also learn from them in the sense of like I want to do similar things, or I want to like learn from them to be a better, if it's a web designer, I want to be a better web designer, I want to be a better content creator or whatever. And I just like I've been kind of radicalized by the idea of You are better than you think. And it literally happened in a moment last night where I decided that I was going to pay $1,500 for a course specifically about like content, sponsorship, stuff like that. After doing that, after that deep dive of is this person, this everything like that and everything, and I'm just like, I get into the thing, like I get into the community and the course and everything like that after giving my credit card information, and I'm thinking, and now I'm like, okay, now I'm on like basically high alert because I was sold on this. I was like, I actually made the decision to purchase it. And I go in there and I'm like, this is good, but this is the whole thing. And I know that some of this is like kind of like unrelated sort of to like the web design route and everything like that, but I'm trying to get your opinions on this as well, because we're in a situation where like there's so much content that's free out there, right? And like we try to aggregate all that ourselves and like just like soak it in and just like figure it out and see what's best, whatever. And the real value prop of a course is just that it's in a fucking order and you can just click like complete lesson, next lesson, whatever, and you can just keep going. So I'm trying to think for myself, like if I ever do that, how can I make sure that that's valuable? How can I make sure that people don't have like the immediate reaction that I kind of had, which I'll get to in a second, like when I see like kind of a course like this in the way that it is, and I don't know, maybe I'm unique in this way. So I'm thinking about all these things. So I get into this and I'm like, okay, cool. Like there was a couple pieces of it that I knew were in there and I really wanted access to, like calculators and resources and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like going through it and I'm thinking like there are so many things that I'm just seeing. It's probably similar to what you guys are like when you build a good website and you have a portfolio of websites, and then you go to another website and you're like, wow, there's this and this that are like all like shit. Like I could do way better like on these types of things. It's not really even about like the content or the person that is creating that content or the person that made that website or the person that made that course. It's not about that. It's much. I'm not trying to like make that the problem or the issue. I'm trying to make it more about me in a sense, and in a sense like you, if you're the one looking at that. I'm just trying to go back to this whole idea of like, if you have any level of imposter syndrome, but you are objectively good at something, it's just totally irrational. And I do it all the time. And I'm sure that you guys, potentially do it from time to time. And I'm trying to think of ways to get through that. And one of the ways to get through that is literally these types of radical moments where you make the investment to go do something and go see something. And then once you do, once you actually get in there and you're looking at it, you're like, holy fuck, wait a minute. First of all, not only do I know a lot of this information, it's like some of the information isn't like really like incredibly helpful, but there's also like things that are making it like harder to utilize. And it's just I don't know what it is about me. I just like constantly look for those types of things, and it's like, oh, like this thing is like not even easy to access. There's like things kind of like elsewhere. It's just decisions that I wouldn't have made, and I'm like, there's so much easier ways to do things. And again, I'm not trying to like critique like heavily and be like a jackass, like be overly critical. It's just like when I see those types of situations happen, like personally, I'm thinking, wow, there's like so many different things that I would have done here that I would like immediately. I didn't even have to think about them. I just would have done them. And then I think, okay, well, wait a second. I why don't I just do that then? Like, why don't I just like make more websites or better websites? Or why don't I just make more content, better content? Why don't I just make courses? Why don't I just make those things? It's just like this level of, again, I just feel like it's kind of like a moment of clarity regarding any level of imposter syndrome or any level of like doubt. And I had it really firmly last night. I've had it many times like in the past or whatever. And it's just it's weird. It's almost like it happens so many times where like there's like one. I kind of have a line, I have a line written in the notes. It's like every single time like I think someone's brand or ops or everything's like amazing, and then you try it or you go deeper on it, you're like, there's so many things that could be optimized here. And that's, again, it's not critical to them. It's bringing it back to yourself. It's like, do not put people on a fucking pedestal thinking they're like perfect or immortal. And don't do this. I mean, I'm saying this in a fucking live stream with people watching me. Like, don't do it to me either. Okay. Like, I want to try to it's like a weird like a cyclical thing here where like I'm like there's people that I'm looking at and I'm like, wow, they're really good. Like that's awesome. Like I want to like it's just it's you can't make people your idols and you can't make yourself feel bad. It's like you have to like just realize that the only real thing that separates you from the person that you're looking at or potentially idolizing, or and then vice versa from like you to the person that's behind you or whatever. It's literally just time and effort. Like it's not, it's a lot. I mean, there is some like talent, I guess, kind of involved, but it's not, but that's so like small. I just think about it. I'm like, if I just, the thing that brings me kind of like a little bit of solace in this is if I just remember that if I just keep going, if I just keep moving forward on whether it's web design, whether it's building a product, whether it's offering content or whatever, like if I just keep doing it, I'm going to continue to get better. And there's really no other way to do that. And along that way, I cannot be afraid of trying the shit that other people have tried and that they are succeeding in, so to speak. But I also look at it and I'm like, where what are we like there's like small like it's not even like small. It's like things that are like quality of life and like especially like this is another part of this that I didn't really talk about in there is like the level of the variance in the level of engagement in communities that I've seen is so vast. And I just like I'm so mixed on it. I want to like I've always said like I want to build a community and I appreciate you guys so much and I want to keep doing that. And it's like the weirdness of there's this so strange thing in like just any level of content creator, influencer, whatever you want to call it, like the difference between like the number of followers, the number of engagement, and the actual number of like people that actually engage on a basis, like if you get into that community realm. I know I'm just talking about a bunch of different things here, but that is so strange to see if you're a good salesperson, if you're a good like speaker and you speak in that realm, it is so easy to almost be like un it's like it's a level of authenticity, but it's a level of like authenticity that doesn't actually track to the objectivity of that like community and engagement and things like that. And I just it's everything just kind of like hit me at once yesterday. And it was so weird. Like it was so strange. And again, I'm not trying to throw shade on like anyone that does anything like this. I feel like when I take a step back, I take my my content creator and my educator, digital consultant, like if I take that hat off and I try to think about it from the person that is consuming this content, because that's where I was like, this is strange. Like this is just like I feel like there's so much more that could be like optimized, and it didn't feel like it lined up. And again, I don't know if this was just a one off, but I'm sure that this exists in greater magnitude. And yeah, so it's just like a really weird situation that kind of like came over me there. And yeah, and just again the thesis, regardless of if you're creating content, if you're creating websites, if you are building some sort of product for somebody like in WordPress or any other builder, like my the thing that I'm telling myself and I'm just telling you is like, do not fucking doubt yourself. Do not think that you are shittier than somebody because they make fucking videos about the thing or they whatever. Like the barrier to entry is so low. I'm not saying at the same time, I'm not saying that everybody like has the ability or should be necessarily like a YouTuber or anything like that. Like if you're not good at it and you want to get better at it, get better at it. But if you're not good at it and you don't want to do it, then don't fucking do it. But I'm saying like just don't feel bad because people are shoving cameras in their face now and they're saying things and they're acting like they're kind of like a guru and shit. Don't feel bad because of that. Like you can look at them and take the good parts from them and leave the bad parts. And then look at somebody else and take the good parts from them and leave the bad parts. That is literally how I've lived my life. And it is really working, but sometimes I kind of like forget. And then I get like these moments where I get like hit in the face. It's like, fuck, I really thought that like I was going to uncover some like serious gold here. And I'm not saying like, again, the content that I was looking at is like bad, like completely bad and useless. It's just, it was like underwhelming. And again, maybe this is more of a, an instance, whatever, I don't know, but it's just like, it was like, I just feel like I already knew this stuff inherently and I was doubting myself and I felt like I needed to spend money in order to get it. And I think really the word that we're kind of looking for here is like validation. And it's like, oh, it was validating to know that that is the case. Um, and I guess that's kind of how it's gone. So yeah, it's a really weird situation that hopefully that resonates with you guys to a degree. Let's see what we got going on in the chat over here. Hopefully that was somewhat hopefully that somewhat resonated with you. Let's take a look. Snowy and cold in Denmark too. I feel that. I feel that. It's cold and snowy in Western New York, USA. Yeah, I'm more of a summer guy. As education on our universities is free, as education on our universities is still free to attend, I still have a hard time paying for courses, especially with AI these days and having curious questioning and methodological mind. Yeah, so like I don't as education on our university. Are we talking about like actually in Germany? Is that what we're talking about in universities there? Because it's definitely not free here. A little bit different if that's what we're talking about. But still though, like I'm with you guys. Like that's why like I've kind of not made course stuff. Like I have a couple free courses, but let's just use a quick example. Like I have the dynamic data course that's 5 videos, 5 hours long of like, I think objectively good content that actually I've gotten like a lot of good feedback on and everything like that. The like it's so sustenance like to me it's just like objective sustenance stuff. I'm not throwing in like fucking testimonials in there. I'm not trying to sell you in the fucking course. There's just like weird things like that. And again, maybe I'm talking like instantial stuff here, like just the situation that I'm kind of looking at and a couple other ones that I've had go through. But I'm just trying to think about not only is it right or wrong, or should you or shouldn't you, or should you buy it, should you not create it, whatever. Like it's not just that, it's also like how to do it like optimally or as optimally as you can, or try to always get better at it. I just I just feel like there's like such a disconnect in the things that I've seen, and I'm like you guys, like I'm kind of like always skeptical of like, do I need that? How much of that stuff is actually stuff that I don't know, or is it again like I was talking about earlier? Is the real value prop of just having it all in a row where you can just like click through and see it all? Um, I'm not trying to paint course or paid education in a bad light. I'm going to be honest with you. If you dedicate as much time as I dedicate to content, I told you about this a couple weeks ago. You have to fucking make money from this. There's absolutely no way that you could put out as much content and stuff like this to and not make money from it. But luckily there's different ways to make money. You can make money from the brands, you can make money from your audience, you could, do a lot of different things. So, I'm not saying I have any answers. I'm just trying to explore this with you guys, because I don't know which way we go, which way we got to go here. Also, YouTube has so many great talks and educational content. Yeah, for sure. Again, I think the value in the courses and that type of stuff is the curated content is literally the curation. Like that's mainly what you're paying for. And if it's good, then it works great. If it's not good and maybe it's even like a shallow subject that like a lot of content isn't even produced on, so to speak, then it's like you like think about it. Like you could have a topic on YouTube where maybe there's only like a small percentage of like the actual content on YouTube is right. Like maybe I don't know of an example, but XYZ topic, let's just say there's maybe like 50 videos on it because it's a newer thing or it's a very niche thing. You could pretty much watch all of those. Then you could go over to somebody's thing that like has made their name in that, so to speak, and look at a course from them, and it could be basically all of those videos. You know what I mean? Like you paid for curation of the videos that you already watched all of them. So yeah, if you're an avid learner and you're always watching shit, then it's like you've probably watched a lot of the content or you've heard it at least said in some other way. So it's a weird spot. It's definitely strange. The recent WP Town Hall podcast episode had two of my favorite marks. Appreciate that, Derek. Thank you. It was kind of confusing. Yeah, there's a lot of marks going on there. David Max, if the course is good, it gives you industry insights that no college course would do that for you. Unfortunately, internet is popular with rubbish courses that it's hard to weed out the bad ones. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I mean, like that's something there too. And then the other question is there's a line in the sand, right? Where I'm sure you guys have experienced. It's like, do you pay for education, or do you pay for like in the form of a course, let's just say, or do you pay for the community side of it, right? The coaching community side of it or whatever, right? Those are two different types of obviously offers and products or whatever, but they're two different types of experiences. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like I learn a fuck ton from all of you guys that make videos and from the other videos that I watch on YouTube and everything like that. And I'm thinking that honestly does seem like that is a really good way to get the education. The problem is, and obviously we do live streams and the community aspect of that, that's crucial. But I'm thinking like, is there I compare like a lot of the stuff that I see now to like Kevin's Inner Circle, and it's like it's so much. Like, Inner Circle is like so much better than so many other ones that I see. It's just like the level of engagement, the level of like actual zeal and stuff for like the content that obviously he produces, and then everything there is just like it's solid and it's objective, it's real, and all that sort of stuff, and I'm trying to like see that and like look at all the other ones, and I'm thinking like how does that obviously that manifests from just like authenticity and actual like knowledge and just sharing that sort of thing, but like how do you build that level of like that community there as well? And I think that there's a lot of people out there, creators and stuff, that are like not really doing that, and it's strange. Like again, like I was just saying earlier, the level of engagement that I saw was just, unless I was looking at something wrong, it was like startlingly low in this other situation that I was referencing. It's like very weird. On a side note, Namecheap is having an awesome domain name sale until January 13th. Interesting. I will have to look into that. Yes, time. Yeah, time. So I get nerdy at times. I lose friends as they are from diverse feedbacks. Therefore, I appreciate online tribes and communities. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like that's another one too. It's another note that I have is like one of my things that I wanted to do this year was focus more on like collaborating. So I feel like I've talked to so many people and I've met so many great people over the course of 2024, but in 2025 I want to actually collaborate more, and not just like really on one-off videos. Like I want to make money with other people doing projects or courses if it makes sense, and things like that that are like actually valuable to the audience or just the greater WordPress community or the greater tech community or whatever. Because for me, and I don't know about you guys, for me, it's like sometimes it's difficult to work by myself, like so to speak. Like I'm standing here or sitting here or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I need to like do this, this, and this, but there's like all these other things, and I've gotten kind of better as I've simplified my strategy and like focused and prioritized a little bit more. But like that's the whole thing for me is like I feel like for some reason, I'm learning about myself that I thrive when I'm like with more people collaborating on more things and we're working towards like whatever those common goals are. Preferably like in a business environment where we can make some money, like because that gives me this idea of, I'm literally doing it right now with some colleagues, and I have this, like I said, on the agenda. We're trying to create a productized service for like high level high level clothing, not like the general stuff that you see like on like Printful or anything like that. Like it's way better quality, and like a productized service situation for that, where like there's a lot of like basically almost like an automated SaaS. So like we're really kind of the middleman for it, because we're not actually like doing that clothing piece of it. But I have those connections, and I've known those guys for a while, and like they know that like I'm in this, they're more in the design sector, so to speak, and I'm more in like the tech sector, so whatever. So like it's like a really good mesh, and it's I've just learned so much about myself in literally like 2 weeks, and it's like I just like automatically go into like consultant leader mode when I'm put in that situation, because I'm like, we need to do this, this, and this, and they're like asking questions, and it's just been a really great experience, truthfully. Like the I've learned so much. I feel like I've been able to teach, and it's a great thing. And I don't know if I have an extreme point to that, but it's just like when you put yourself in those situations where you're like able to collaborate with others, you have this. If you're that type of person, then you like find things out about yourself. It's very weird, and I'm happy for it, and I gotta keep figuring it out. Mark, have you ever heard of Gary Simon of Design Course on YouTube? He has courses cheap too. I bought a few. I have not heard of Gary Simon, but I will check him out. Are they good? I guess they're pretty good if you've bought a few there, Derek. Nice. Um, Loose topic wise, when I get nerdy on tech, yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, but have you actually finished them? That's a good question. Interested to hear that answer there. Might be the case. Usually they're not on my talk extension program. Yeah. No, I have not even started them. I watch design course on YouTube. See, like that's the other thing too. Is like that's interesting. It's like, a course is a way to obviously support a creator. It's a way to get it's a way for a creator to make money, a way to support a creator, but it's also a way for the consumer, the person, that the student, to learn quickly. Hopefully, that would be the idea. Like you could binge watch a course in possibly like a lot less time than you could watch a ton of YouTube videos. I'm gonna blow my nose here real quick. Okay, a little sniffly. Um, I have a pet peeve though with courses, and again, I don't know if it's all courses, but the thing that's funny about courses is that I don't know. Like my mind goes to like, do people that build courses build them specifically for people with like ADHD? And I don't say that like as an asshole. I'm saying it like when I can watch a long form video. Maybe I'm sure not everybody can, but I could watch a 2 hour video and I can retain that information. And maybe I'll have to watch it again if it's real technical or something like that. But it seems like every fucking course that I've seen, not every course, that's too generalized, but like a lot of these courses, especially paid ones where there's like an actual platform, they're making like 1 to 5 minute videos. And a lot of times, again, specifically the one that I'm referencing, it's like they're literally like 1 to 3 minute videos, and they don't even say that much shit. And then you see like a lesson plan, like the whole lessons, and it's like 50 to 75 videos. It's like this how fucking long is this thing? Like it's not even really that much content. And then but it's like sold in a way that it's the greatest thing ever. Like it's just so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm like blackpilling myself on courses with all this, but I'm trying to make sense of it because again, I'm trying to learn because if I ever offer this type of thing, I'd like to not make the same blunders or just I don't want to do the shit that I don't like. Like I would want to buy the thing that I don't want to sell something that I wouldn't buy. You know what I mean? It's just weird. So yeah, kind of strange. Where are we at in the comments here? Low cost and interesting on sale sometimes too. Cool, cool, cool. I confirm that Mark's dynamic data is. I appreciate that, Derek. Thank you very much. Basically, discovered a lot of people's success is built on being shameless. They don't let self doubt about their skills, quality of work, of what they sell hold them back. Yeah, I mean, I hope to not be one of those people. Guys, let me know if I ever am. Um, but I do want to counter that slightly, Nick, though, and just say that I'm not trying to cast personal judgment on like the course creator that I'm talking about here. Seems like a fine guy, puts out a lot of great content. But the thing is like I don't know if it's actually that. I think it's a difference in like literal like perspective from like a course creator versus like a consumer of it, especially a consumer that's not in the space heavily, right? Like this again, this is regarding like content stuff like that I was talking about. And I've had this experience before. I've had this other experience where like I feel like I'm not getting the value out of like a community that I was paying for, and like I need to go, or I like age out of it, so to speak. That might be more of it. It's like you could definitely, I think you could all probably see yourself in a situation like this where you and let's make a hypothetical scenario. Let's say that you find out about like a WordPress community. This is anonymous. It's like this is a hypothetical situation. You find out about a WordPress community. You hop in there for $100 a month or something like that, and then you realize quickly that the average level. You got to realize this, right? The average level of people and content in that community is lower than where you are. And if the average is lower than where you are, how much better could you actually get? You could get better at teaching people for sure, because like, if you know more than most of the people in there, then whatever. But I feel like I'm sure everyone else is, but I feel like I'm hypersensitive to this. It's like immediately right away, I'm like, wow, this shit is, not only does this shit seem like I know it already, it also seems like there's not like a ton for me to like move up to the next level. It's always like that thing where you should always have, there's a saying, I'm not sure what it is. It's something, I'm butchering it. It's something like you should always have like 5 people. It's not the 5 people you surround yourself with. It's not that, but it's like you should always have like people ahead of you. You should be like in the 33% in the middle of like people that you know. There's like 33% of people that are like further ahead of you, and then you can learn from and you can be mentored by. And then there's 33% of people you know behind you that you can mentor and you can help. And I think that that's like a really good way to think about life. And like anytime like that gets messed up where I think that I'm going to be adding in something that's like ahead of me and it's actually like with me, like alongside me, or like even like parts of it are like the average is like kind of past where I'm at. It's no shade on those people. It's or the creator or anything like that. It's just like it's like a mismatch almost. So I feel like that's partially what I'm feeling. But just to round up on the shameless thing, I do think I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that like in this case or in other cases, I'm sure in some cases that does exist. But I think in some cases it's not necessarily that they're straight up shameless. It's that they don't. It's like they've probably helped a lot of people. But to what I was saying there, the level of it was. But again, I feel like it's sold in a way that it could help everyone and it just does like it just can't like all these things they can't help everyone like it's not like every course is right for every person or every way of teaching is right for every person and I feel like that's kind of where it goes um because I think there are some probably like evil or shameless or like kind of malicious people out there but I think a lot of them it's just like it's almost like miscommunication in a way or it's like just maybe it's maybe it borders on hyperbole but it's not really malicious. I like to try to get people the benefit of the doubt until I know that they're actually like malicious. But I don't know. That's my thought on it. But that's a good thought. I mean, there. So I don't know. Andrea, what's up? What's up? What's up? Mark squared, yeah, from yesterday. That's pretty funny. Usually both. I'm not sure what that was in reference to. Dividas, probably different one there. Bob says college was a long time ago, but what a waste of money. It's a new world of free YouTube content and can be extremely selective about what courses you buy or not buy. Lots of way to research, find courses, find out people's opinions before buying. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I went to the University of Pittsburgh. I don't know how much money I paid. I think might have had some grants or something, but I think like all in, I was probably like around like 80. I came out with like $25,000 in debt and paid that off relatively quickly because I had a job at that point. But yeah, I mean it's not cheap. It's only gotten more expensive. The quality of education that you're getting, you're kind of like subjected to whatever it is. I'm not really a huge proponent of college unless you're like I guess you're going to something that's like extremely regulated or you have to go through like doctor or whatever. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to tell my children in 20 years. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I think that's how I've learned all my stuff. Like, how much did I learn in college that I'm actually using? Probably pretty little. And I went for information sciences, so it helped me a little bit in computer science. So like, it helped with like the basics, very basics of like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, a little bit of that. But all of it's been YouTube. Like all of it's been YouTube and other people. Maybe the odd community here, obviously, or course. I don't even know how many courses I've actually like tried or had or whatever, but it's basically just been that. And I don't know. I want to interject something right here because again, it's another moment of clarity, gold nugget situation here. There is this concept of going fast as fuck. Okay, there's this concept of like speed is everything, and I've heard this from so many different entrepreneurs in different industries, and I was always like, no, like I don't want to go fast as fuck because I'd rather like have like a stable foundation. Imagine if you build your house with you take the time to like pour like a concrete foundation, concrete block wall versus like just some fucking, like as fast as you could with, I don't know, wood or something like that. I'm making this shit up. I don't know anything about building a fucking house. Okay. But I'm saying like, imagine those two scenarios where like one way you take the time to actually do something and try to build it like with a strong foundation versus you just like go and just build it as fast as possible with whatever materials you can find laying around or something like that. I have come to realize that you don't want to be super planned out and you also don't want to be completely like operating without anything. The concept of this speed thing, the thing that speed allows you to do is it kind of allows you to like, for me, the thing that speed allows me to do is allows me to not overthink the shit that I'm doing and get like emotionally attached almost to a solution that I'm having. If I move faster, then it gives me that level of like I care about what I'm doing. I want to like make money from what I'm doing or move or evolve what I'm doing, but I'm not like I didn't waste a ton of time or devote a ton of time into something and then it didn't work, so to speak. It's just a weird middle ground. And the way that's related to this is that we only have so much time. Like, it's this idea of like rich people buy their time or buy time and buy that back. So that's why like people say, oh, buy the courses and buy those things, because you don't have to go search around for the different shit that you're looking for. You could just like purchase it, and the curation is the actual value. And I think there's a lot of credence to that. But again, I go back to the fact of like, well, did it actually, is it curated in the way that you need it to be curated? Is it curated at the level that you need it to be curated? The content itself. And that part I think is so crucial. Um, and I don't know if like in this case specifically I misread that, or if like I'm not deep enough in it enough to understand or what the case is, but it's just like I don't know. I don't know if it's just again like I was radicalized, like my level of confidence was radicalized. I don't know what it is. It was just a very strange situation. And I think that again like of the idea and the concept of paid content like that and curated is not bad, but a lot of times you just got to be like more cognizant of what's going on. Um, Derek agrees college is a waste. Mark, are you an admin barfly? Kyle's Pay community. I am not a barfly. I've been in the community, but I'm not a barfly. Yeah, it was so much. What did I miss? Are you making a course? Brendan, I told you that I wanted to collab with you. The people would love that. Um, I don't have plans to make a course though, specifically. We're talking about a course that I kind of like what I learned from purchasing a course and just kind of the weirdness surrounding it. It's kind of like a group therapy session, and also trying to understand what the what is and isn't favorable, so to speak, in like when you're doing these types of things, and just trying to get real meta on that because I'm a meta guy. Not really, not a, I don't belong to Meta the company. I just meta. Um, Honestly, I finished maybe 55% of the my bot courses and not started 33%. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing too is like again it's something to support the creator, but like you have to actually go through these things if you actually want to get the value out of them. And it's like I don't know, it's just it's an interesting thing. Da, 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 da. Many courses on Udemy, good and bad. Yep. Mark, do you ever critique websites live on YouTube or offer paid critiques? I mean, I'm definitely down to do that. I don't know if I put together a thing. I've had that question before. I'll put together like a form or whatever if somebody wants to do that. But um, yeah, I mean, I could provide whatever critique you kind of want. I mean, again, I'm probably not going to be if you're gonna compare my level of critique to like KG's level of critique. I'm probably not going to be like telling you I've realized, let me say it different. I've realized that I'm not a fucking CSS master, as an example, right? Like I realized that when I started this, I'm gonna be very vulnerable for a second. When I started this, I don't even know what I thought my lane was. Like my lane was just like, hey, I build WordPress websites or whatever. I've come to realize that I'm pretty good at dynamic data. I'm really like analytical and objective, so I feel like the data architecture piece maybe I feel like I'm good at that to even to a fault sometimes because I like think too many fucking options when I'm like thinking about like the architecture of like a website, for instance, from the data side. So that's kind of more of my lane. Obviously, I'm not a designer. I know that about myself. I think it's really important, as just a random thing, I think it's really important to realize what you're not good at. It's almost even more fucking important than realizing what you are good at. Because if you can realize what you're not good at, then you can just realize maybe the things that you have to delegate, the things you really don't have to talk about, you know what I mean? Like the things that you should not exactly give advice on. Um, I think everybody should have like kind of their opinion on things, but like that, but if you, for instance, if you gave me a website right now and like I looked at it, I could tell you if it looks good or not, but I can't really tell you how to like make it amazing. I can get you to an average level. I could tell you like if crazy you got crazy line height things on, if you got crazy colors or whatever, like maybe better than the just average person, but I'm not going to be able to give you crazy good design ideas. So I think that, the critique that I would give is kind of maybe something like we did, last week where it's how it's more of like consulting on how to lay out the data for the most optimal management of the data, the most optimal display of the data, the most optimal, creation, updating, and interconnecting really of all the data, and then also like maybe bordering into like the integration piece or whatever. But even like when we get to like integrations and like external things, like the stuff that Alan is doing of WPZ, the stuff that Brendan is doing, like I look at that stuff and I'm like, that is fucking awesome. I want to do that, and simultaneously I'm like, I don't want to look at that at all. Like it's just kind of I'm in this weird area there, specifically with web stuff, the technical side of it, the business side of it. Like I'm totally like very interested in. So I'm just telling you guys, this is literally the evolution. You are watching a man evolve in front of you, like with where like what I'm thinking, the content that I'm trying to produce, the type of kind of like I guess audience that I'm trying to build, I guess. And that's kind of a very long-winded answer to the fact that I don't currently. I've gotten the question of critiquing websites. If you have any, DM them to me, and I will maybe put a form together so you can throw it on the website. Actually, you know what? I do actually have a form on the website. If you just go to the contact page, if you scroll to where the hell is the contact page? I didn't put a contact page on this. I know you can't see it. I didn't put a contact page on this website for a specific reason. But now, like I have it on there, but I don't have it linked. I want, what does it say? My website? Yeah, okay, here you go. Here we go. This is an answer to that question. I know we're behind in the chat. You guys got too many good questions, too many good comments here. If you go to contact page and you go right here, there you go. It's one of these options. It's hard, you can't see the drop down. It's like I want my website to be publicly critiqued by Mark, and you do that stuff. So it's in the contact form. If anybody wants to do that, we do that in a future episode. Yeah, but that's the context there. I appreciate that question, Derek. Where is my chat? Okay, there we go. I once took a Tony Robbins course way back. His greatest strength is that he's so confident. The material was so, but his confidence has sold everyone. Many people have much better material but aren't nearly as confident. Yeah, I mean, so that's, again, confidence is key. If you have confidence and good quality content, I think that's kind of the magic recipe. But again, the quality of the content, as we've talked about, confidence is, I would say, generally objective, right? Like you can either be confident or not confident. You can be like, good at sales and good at like marketing or whatever, or you cannot. I haven't found too many instances where people are objectively able to say that a good marketer is a bad marketer or somebody with confidence doesn't have confidence. It's like if you look at somebody and you're like, okay, obviously this person is confident, good marketer, whatever, good salesperson, then if somebody says no to that, it's like, it's kind of like they're like lying to themselves or whatever. Maybe they're like jealous or something like that. That seems relatively objective. What does seem a little more subjective is the level of content, because it is more of like it's just more of a something that could vary from person to person, so to speak. But it's also, again, what we talked about earlier. It's not subjective from is it good or bad. It's also subjective from the fact of like, is it right or is it not right for the person that's actually consuming it? So that's the part where, some people, for the Tony Robbins example, they might be like, I remember when I watched Gary Vee shit when I knew nothing and it was fucking amazing. And now I watch Gary Vee shit and he's saying the same shit every single time. And it's like, I understand why he's saying the same thing every time. And he's even referenced it. It's because what else is he going to fucking say? Like, he's not going to, you want him to make stuff up and want him to lie? It makes total sense. It's just like, this is why it's so important to like leapfrog and from like, like tier to tier, like you're going up like a set of steps or some shit, where you unfortunately have to sometimes leave the people that you're watching because they're no longer giving you the content that you need to go to the next level. And it's not really a sad thing. It's not really a bad thing. It's just something that happens. Like you if you want to continue to evolve, you probably can't just watch one person or just consume, this level of content for however long. You have to continuously get continue to go kind of like up the chain, so to speak, or into, new levels of people. Yeah, and just continue to invest in yourself. So, yeah. Mark, I've always wondered, is that your couch behind you or your bed? That is bed. That's a bed back there. That's a twin bed that I've had since I lived in my parents' house. So this is kind of like the office spare-ish room type situation here. And I've been meaning to try to change this, but unfortunately, we don't live in a large house yet. So it's kind of like this fucking desk is huge. And then my wife's desk is over there, out of frame. So we're limited kind of in this office space. I actually, fun fact, might be switching my shit up, and I'll take some pictures or something or share this or whatever if we do this. We are probably going to have a child we're not currently uh, we're not currently with child, but we might have a child. The idea would be to have a child uh, late this year, early next year, sometime in 25, 26. Okay, and I'm turning 29 in a few days here on the 28th. So life is happening. Anyway, my point is in regards to this question, my wife has a podcast studio that I like set up for her downstairs in our spare room down there. So we may end up having to completely change the house if we don't get out of here before we have children. So I might be in a completely different location within the next year. You will find out whenever that happens. So yeah, it's just random more fun content creation workflow changes that might occur. I agree, Mark, but you also have to see it from a point of view of a minimum wage consumer when they buy a course. Wasting $1,500 won't change our lives, but it's super painful when it's 10% of your yearly wage. Yeah, I don't disagree. Wasting one won't change our lives, but it's super painful when it's 10% of your yearly. Yeah. I mean, I feel that. Yeah, I think my question, I probably don't have an opinion on that. I probably have to ask more questions. My question would be like, does that mean, okay, so here's the thing. This is where I think everything that I've said to this point starts to kind of coalesce, and it might not, I don't know if it completely fits with what you guys think or not or whatever, but here's the thing. I think if that's the situation, if we're operating under that premise, then that is absolutely the time to get as much free content as humanly possible, right? I don't think, and to the credit of the person that I'm kind of like referencing here with this course, like they didn't want like anyone getting it. They wanted to like, don't, like they literally said in one of the stuff, like if you are low on cash, do not fucking get this, because $1,500 isn't something to sneeze at, obviously, right? So if that's the case, if that is a lot of money, I don't think you should ever like fucking bet the house on like a course ever. I don't think that's the right thing to do. Because there's no, again, like you could be put in a situation like me where you're not guaranteed anything, and you get in there, you're like, shit, I don't really think that this is like as valuable as I thought it was. And I think that's the time where obviously, and that's the huge benefit of like YouTube. Like, I mean, you don't even need to have YouTube Premium. You just watch ads and you get regular YouTube, and you get so much information just for free. I just think there is, again, I'm just going to go back to the whole ladder system. I think there's a time and a place where, like, if you were, again, the minimum wage employee concept, right? $1,500 is very different than if you were like, I don't know, making $100,000 a year in your own business or even at a job or whatever. That it's varying from those degrees. So I think maybe a way to summarize is that make sure as a course creator, you are targeting the right people based off of your price. You know what I mean? Like I would think very differently kind of the thing that I'm talking about if it was cheaper. But at the same time, the one caveat to that would be I think there's probably a lot of people that have probably bought that for $1,500 and have gotten a lot more value out of it because they hadn't, like, maybe they never created any fucking content. That's also kind of like a little bit of the vibe that I get is like there's a little bit of a mismatch because I'm kind of like somebody that came from a skill. I don't know if you guys noticed this, okay? There's a lot of fucking people on the internet that like, I get imposter syndrome because like I haven't made a fuck ton of money doing this. But at least I kind of feel like, maybe you guys can call me out on this. I feel like I know at least something. And like I was just saying earlier, I try to figure out what I do and don't know, right? And I try to just tell you guys the things that I'm actually like pretty certain on, right? I'm not perfect by any means, but when you have a creator of any sort telling you shit that they haven't done at all, it's a little weird, and you can like smell that pretty quick. The other thing is that in my case specifically with the content of this course, but it applies to other ones, it's literally about like content and like getting paid for content. But there is the fucking generality of that is unbelievable. Like it's you could be a WordPress YouTuber talking about specific technical stuff, or you could be like somebody that just fucking eats food in your car. You know what I mean? Like it's unbelievable the delta in all of the different things that you could be if you want to make money from content, so to speak, right? So that level of course, I actually think is too fucking broad now that I think about it. And if you were going to make a course, you almost have to make like a limited mini course about a specific thing to a degree, or a much tighter thing. I think that's actually one of the issues that I'm thinking about here, because none of the content is, again, I would say like 6 out of 10. But the reason it's a 6 out of 10 is because it can't go deep enough, because there's not enough niche to it. That's a really good question. I think that's a really good point. Like the way to bring all that back there. I mean, again, I totally understand the economics of it. And I'm super happy now that the barrier of entry to getting knowledge is so low that pretty much anybody can do it. And then if you choose to take the free knowledge and make money from the free knowledge, then hopefully you continue to move up and up and up, and then you can get to the point where like there's like hyper specific knowledge at probably a premium price that you actually need. That's a really, you know what? There's a fucking Alex Hormozy. I don't know why I didn't put this together until right now. His book, is it the offers one? I think it's $100 million offers. There's leads, offers. There's another one now. In that book, he literally has a chart where it's like, if you offer something, Uber generalized, you pay like 1x, and then more generalized 2x, and then like the more and more you get, you can pay more and more. Literally because there's less people fucking talking about that. There's less people that would have that information, so you could charge more for it. That's one way to think about that, I think. Bob says YouTube has saved me. I'm a visual learner. I can't understand text or books or documents to save my life. New world we live in for visual learners. I'm 100% with you, Bob. I joke with Matt Medeiros all the time that I don't read, and I don't want to type either that heavily. I'm always listening, watching, or speaking into this microphone if I have to produce content. I mean, I'll type obviously on occasion, but I'm undecided whether to buy a course on accessibility or not. I know I would have little time. Yeah, I don't. Accessibility is one of those things that is like kind of wild right now. I mean, obviously you got the stuff that has not hit the U.S. yet, I guess, like the EU, GDPR, and all those types of things. Probably will end up like getting over here as well from like the legal side. But again, it's just like, as a professional in the web development space, we were talking about this. Were we talking about this on the predictions the other day? Yeah, I think we were on that predictions episode over on the WP Minute. I think there is so much that let me talk about this. Okay, thank you, Andrea, for bringing this up. Okay, so I feel also at the same time like I'm kind of moving towards, like I'm moving the wrong way, so to speak. What I mean by that is, I don't know about you guys. Okay, I don't know how you've handled all of your businesses, but I'm going to tell you real quick how I've handled them, and maybe you've ascertained this. I have pretty much all the websites and everything that I built, it was pretty much like all custom. I was just like making offers based off of like what they kind of wanted and everything like that. I never did the thing where it was like package 1, 2, or 3 for the types of websites you get. I never did like, a certain number of pages. It was not a productized system. Over the course of like this year and everything, as I was trying to think about the web design agency, I brought this to like several people. Matt Medeiros was one of them. He was like, why don't you just like, go back? Like he said, if he would go back to agency land, he would just do like simple websites in like a week, $2,500, something like that. Right. And that is intriguing to me. But at the same time, when I started this, I never wanted to do simple shit. I always wanted to do the stuff that you guys have seen. I always wanted to do the things that were like, dynamic and, whole like platforms and all that sort of stuff or whatever. And I was just like, I want to do those types of things. And I know that I could charge more for those types of things, but it's crazy the amount of shit that you need to know. And again, related to accessibility, there's so like the bigger something gets, the more accessible you have to like know like all the different fucking like widgets and just different things like elements that you put in. Like you have to make sure that your builder is doing the right things. You have to make sure you're doing the right things. It's a crazy amount of stuff. So like the thing that I've realized, and I don't know if this resonates with you guys or not, but the thing that I've realized is that in at least part of my life, part of my business life, I need to move closer to something that is rinse and repeatable, like something that is a product offer, like kind of like I was talking about before with that whole like clothing thing that I'm doing with some colleagues, like that type of thing where you can just create an offer, put it on a website, have buttons to buy the fucking thing and then like never talk to anybody. I'm not saying I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm saying that like that level of basically just saying I want to build a product. I don't know what that product is or productized service, but something that is productized so I don't have to literally craft a new offer every single time. And I'm going to go back to what we've been talking about the whole time. The advice that I'm getting on the content business, okay, the content and like kind of consulting sponsorship business that, you know, maybe some of you guys are familiar with, or you've just heard me talk about it, or other people, the advice that I've got is that that business should be completely custom. Like, for instance, somebody should, like, I should reach out, or somebody reaches out to me and they're like, hey, we want to sponsor some videos, or we want you to do some brand deal type things or whatever. Like, we want to, you know, get our brand out to your audience. I have to make sure that I vet them and all that sort of stuff, obviously. And then it's like that whole exchange every single time needs to be uber custom. And it's just like, that is one of the things that I felt was so unbelievably. I understand that in some ways that is sales, but it's just, I feel like that is just a draining ass thing to do, to like customize every single pitch proposal if you're in web design for the client for the project. You're obviously going to be charging more most of the time because it's like a custom thing that you are, you know, writing all the deliverables for. You have to have basically all this idea or like a calculator of like how you're gonna like set all it up. I mean, if you get better at it, you could be better at it. I'm just saying that, like, to me, I've done it, and maybe I've done it inefficiently, but it's not really that attractive. Like, I've never really had a situation where somebody can just go to my website, click buy. I've had it very in limited quantities. Like, the consulting thing is one concept, but like, it's so cool to like have somebody go to your thing, buy your product or your productized service. Boom, they pay, the money comes in, you provide the service or the product or whatever, whether it's recurring or one off or what have you, and then you go there. That's why the idea of a course is super like attractive, so to speak. But it comes with its own, you know, problems, or its own you know, its own challenges for sure. So again, to summarize for, you know, the vast majority of you guys, is I would also, if you're not already doing it, consider the idea of those quick, like, again, in this case, websites of 2,500 for, you know, simple website with certain things. I think that could be a way to generate relatively quick, if you could get that process down, like quick cash and stuff like that, to, you know, eventually scale and do even more custom things. Or if a custom lead comes in, obviously you still do this. I think it's important to have like a back pocket productized service while you could still provide like a white glove scenario. If you can do both of those, I think it's huge. And I've tried to do it. I've done the white glove thing way too many fucking times, and now I'm trying to like get back into the whole like actual productized area of that. Yeah, it's just a there's too many things to know, right? Like again, the accessibility thing that Andrea said is it absolutely a great example. There's too many things to know, regardless of how websites continue to evolve and the web continues to evolve. Like, we know more than the average person, and it's like maybe AI will end up knowing something like that as well, but make sure you're leveraging that too. And I'm not going deep into AI right this second, unless we have some questions about it. But like, that's kind of the way that I'm thinking about it with all of that. And again, just giving you my thoughts on kind of where my mind is at from the business like offer perspective, because I think it's something to be considered. A great and cheap course for CSS is a website and YouTube channel called Slaying the Dragon. I have not heard of that, but I will make a note of that. Appreciate that, Bob. Love your sessions, Mark. Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. I got Derek here. Mark, you could charge a fair price for website critiques based on your skill level and what you critique. I appreciate that, Derek. We will take that into consideration. Got to think about, you know, the offer, I guess, like I have to think about it for everything. Brendan, so chat, should Mark and me collab on a course together? Andrea says, of course. Derek says yes. Yeah, we got some votes. Confidence is def key. I have imposter syndrome. I mean, I think we all do to a degree. I mean, again, I was talking about that heavily in the beginning here. I think the only way to go back to slay that dragon, pun, there's a pun there from a callback, I think is to I think is to literally just honestly what I did yesterday was literally something like that. Like I'm radicalized with confidence because I thought it was going to be like a complete unlock, and then I get in there and I'm downloading fucking docx documents for like contract templates and things, and I'm like, what? And I'm seeing like the latest posts were like, you know, the sparsity of posts that go back from 3 years to like now, it's just has like waned off, and it's like kind of like annoying to see that, because that's one of those things where I understand how a course works. I understand how like content works. I understand how education works. If you're in an environment that's not changing like incredibly rapidly, and you're not like researching new shit and like all that sort of stuff, then yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to say the same things over and over. If you create a course that's like, a calculator, if you create a course that's like a template for something, it's probably not going to change that much. But the fact that like somebody comes in there that's later in the lifespan of the course, um, and they see that type of thing, it's like an immediate turnoff if they have any sort of like rational judgment, in their body, so to speak. It's like, why, where are the posts? Where's the community aspect? Where is the, any of that? And again, it's just, we're talking about a one-off here, but, and I'm not trying to like talk about it specifically. I'm just like saying like, these are the things that I'm always grappling with. And I think that they're not just applicable to the course thing. They're applicable to literally like every type of content that you consume. It's just a wild thing. Bob says that would be cool. David Oss is in. We got to figure something out, Brendan. Derek says, I felt that Chris Hughes of A Nerd's World sometimes had recycled content that became boring. Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly, again though, Derek, I do think that most people will get to that point, and I think that I try to do it because I'm sure it's going to happen with me. I'm sure I'm going to have people be like, yeah, I don't want to listen to Mark's shit anymore because he's saying the same stuff over and over again. I probably already do that to a degree. And I understand it. It's probably because like where I'm at in my evolution of the things that I'm thinking and learning and sharing or whatever is probably, you've probably exceeded that, right? Like you're probably learning something else or doing something else that's like past the point of where I'm at, or in a different sphere even. Like doesn't even have to be completely linear. And that makes total sense. And I'm never going to like, like who am I to fucking say, hey, yeah, fucking you're a jerk for no longer watching my stuff or listening to my stuff. I don't, it is what it is. But specifically the Chris A. Hughes one, like he's obviously doing something different now. But yeah, it's like there's only so much stuff, especially when you. This is one other thing. Once you remove yourself from the business, it's like you can definitely still talk about the other things, but if the business changes, right? Like this is a really good example. Let's say that you made content about web design for 5 years from the. Let's say you made content about the business of web design for I don't know, 10 years, whatever, from like 2010 to 2020. Okay. And then in 2020, you decided that you're no longer going to have your web design business or anything like that. You're going to do something else. You're going to try to do like consulting, or you're going to have like a spinoff, or you're just not even going to be in the day to day anymore. Right. But you continue that. I see this all the time, not just in web design. I'm just using it as an example. So then now it's been 5 years since you were like really in the business, hands on, everything like that. You still know, like this is where it gets a little nuanced. Like I don't think you should discount that person entirely, but you do have to watch everything that they do with a grain of salt, because this is what happens to just people in general as they age. They don't, if they don't continue to like know the latest and greatest of like what they're talking about. I say this in jest because like the old people thing, but I'm not criticizing old people. I'm just saying like it's hard to keep up. Like you, first of all, you have more things that are going on and everything like that, but it's harder to keep up. So if you have people that are like coming into the game and like from 22 to like 40, and they're like innovating and they're moving the ball forward, they're creating new software, stuff like that, and now you would be at the point where you're like 40 to 60 years old, like that if you've removed yourself entirely from your business, in this case that I'm giving you here, this hypothetical, then the stuff that you're talking about now is not the latest and greatest. It's not the thing that the people that are watching your content before, they were feeling now, because you've been removed from the business, you've been removed from the space a little bit, but you're still talking about it. So my point is that you have to like understand where the people came from and where they're at currently and how they're kind of reacting to all that. There's ways to do that, I feel like, gracefully, but I've just noticed it so much. It's like it's the people like I'll use a ridiculous example so we can all laugh together, like a Tai Lopez type thing. It's like I have no idea what Tai Lopez does. I remember that he was the dude in his garage and stuff like that. I never watched any stuff. I never like really like saw it, but like it's kind of like it became like kind of a meme. I'm not sure what credibility he had back then or what he was doing then, but like the fact that he could possibly still be around now, it's like what did he do? You know what I mean? Like where was he in that whole time? What is he doing now that he wasn't doing then or vice versa or whatever? And it's just kind of a funny one that we could kind of all laugh at because it's just some random guy. But I'm saying like that's that's the meta to that whole thing. And I feel like again back to Chris Hughes is kind of a good example of that. I feel like he kind of got like a little removed from it or whatever, but it's absolutely not just him. Like it just happens. And unfortunately, fortunately, whatever, people do evolve, and for some reason, like maybe one day, like you guys won't be watching me because I'm not talking about the same shit. And it just is what it is. I don't know. That'll be my thing. It takes almost 9 months. What was that in reference to? I'm behind in the chat. Uh, Little Marky, Little Amanda. Yeah, yeah. We'll see what happens there. I don't know. Boy or girl, we'll see. No ads with uBlock. Yeah, they were talking about weird shit happening with uBlock, and I've not seen anything yet. So fingers crossed on that. Um, just some of my comments got transcribed wrong. Didn't even check. Interesting. Oh, he's in the AI. That's what AI. Okay, that's funny. That's funny. Are you familiar with Troy Dean of Agency Mavericks? I have heard of Troy Dean. Haven't talked to him. I think I've seen a couple pieces of content from Mavericks. I think recently. Um, yeah, definitely know the name. Not super familiar with it, but yeah. Leonardo, what's up? What's up? Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see if there's anything else crazy that I have in my notes. Obviously, like I said, I've been radicalized by all that thought of, just everything we talked about there. Appreciate all you guys' insights. I do really think that I'm like not pursuing. I want to kind of go back on that for a second. I do really feel like I kind of really want to lean into like that productized situation, just moving forward there and everything like that. And I would, recommend, possibly if you guys have any ideas or if you guys are moving in that direction as well, I think that that's something that could be beneficial just to diversify. If you guys have any questions too, I do have a dev environment thing that we could play around with some different stuff or try different things. But yeah, Max says your knowledge stays fresh and evergreen if you learn the basics, web stack, etc., and then not some specifics about web builders or software packages that'll be outdated. That's the other thing too is like also, I've obviously made a little bit of heavy content here, I guess, in like the bricks realm and stuff like that. But I do think that there's this concept of being like a generalist and having specific ways that you apply that. And that's something that I think I'm naturally kind of doing to a degree. Like we're going to be talking about a lot of different, for specifically in the web design space, we're going to be talking about a lot of different like products here moving forward that are not bricks, like other like page builders and things like that may or may not be attractive to you. I'm gonna caveat this because this is the nuance that I always talk about. The nuance to that is that the knowledge will always stay fresh and everything like that. The trouble is that if you're building an audience, this is a me problem. If you're building an audience with like page builder bricks, for instance, right? But then you also create content about like grade, or you create content about Elementor or something like that. Now, the audience that knows you from the one thing is probably not going to watch the other content, which isn't bad, but it's also like now I feel like you're kind of like a little bit of you're kind of like breaking it up a little bit. You're segmenting a little bit, which doesn't have to be a bad thing, but this is why like to me, I kind of want to create an environment here and a community around this where, it's like we're kind of like friends, like we're associates. We're like there's, hopefully I'm helping you. Hopefully I'm learning, trying, sharing the things, but like but it's like more of like a weird interpersonal relationship where like I'm on a screen talking and like, or we're talking, on chat or whatever, or DMing, like just weird, like it's not like weird, but it's like more of something like that where it's about, that's really the whole reason. That's one of the whole reasons that I recently Z'd it out. One of the best things I ever did was make my name, like my channel name, my name, rather than like come up with a random brand name. I feel like there's this yearning that like a lot of people are like lonely, like post COVID and stuff like that or whatever, and they're like yearning for like these personal connections, but a lot of times, you know, it's harder to make them like in real life, so to speak, because you walk up and you have no idea what somebody likes or does or whatever. But if you can find these pockets and these communities on the internet that are way easier to find, you know, people that are like you, then you could spin that into the real life if you want, like going to events and things like that. But that juxtaposition and that like whole thing there is, I don't know, it just becomes really interesting. And like I said there, it's a weird balance of like not wanting to alienate members of your audience when you do different types of content, but at the end of the day, I do think that the reason that my website and the reason that my channel is not called what I was going to call it at one point, MJSWP, I'm so glad I made that decision, because I cannot promise you guys that I will always be talking about this shit. It will always be a part of me because it's super important, and like we're in a realm where like we're not talking about like, you know, XYZ like card collect, like some sort of like card collecting type thing or something like that, or I'm just making shit up, like something like that that's like what we do. It could be is like ubiquitous in a way that it could be applied to so many circumstances, like technology, marketing, that type of thing. So that's, I don't know, just trying to be transparent with you guys. That's the way that I think about those types of things. Yeah. What do we got here? Derek says Troy Dean's podcast show is good. His YouTube videos are okay. Interesting. I'm gonna have to check those out. I think I definitely listened to one. I don't know if it was was it Josh Hall? Was he on there recently? I don't know. Not too long ago. I'm not sure. Manolis, what's up? What's up? Are you late? I mean, it's, you know, it's available on replay. You can just watch it. It's all good. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. Mark, do you still do agency work? I see you on YouTube so much. Yes. I mean, I have clients. I have like, I don't know, I want to say like 10 to 15 like clients on website care plans. Only, like I said in the recap, only built one new website last year. I think I'm just going to go back to what I said earlier. I want to build more websites. I want to do more cool shit. This is a way to get like more people to know that I can do that type of shit. So it has kind of worked. Surprisingly though, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, and I don't understand, like obviously I don't understand I don't understand there. I've heard multiple different like reports, so to speak, from people that do like other content creators. Some people say they get zero leads from this, like web design leads. Some people say they get all of their fucking leads from this. And I don't understand the latter. I don't understand how I could do the content that I do and get web design leads. Who is looking for this shit? Like obviously Bricks is kind of like slightly more of a niche builder than like an Elementor or like a Divi or something. But like I don't know, maybe any of you guys that like have ever created content stuff like that, like I don't get I talk to people that are doing the similar things to me is kind of what I've seen. I don't get people that are like wanting websites or wanting that type of thing from everything that I've kind of done. Maybe I haven't done it long enough. Maybe I don't know, whatever. But yeah, to answer the question is I still have Find a Tech. That's my agency. I've tried to. It was built on Elementor, like the website for it. So I've switched it to Bricks. It's a very simple website now. It's just like 2 pages. And I want to kind of like rebuild that business with kind of what I've learned. But at the same time, I don't have the bandwidth, and I almost just don't really want to build these crazy projects unless they're worth it. So if I was going to build that business back up, I would want to turn it into like that productized type of business where we're just pumping shit out. But then again, the next thought that I have when I think about, oh, we'll just pay me $2,500, we'll have your website done in 3 days or something like that. I'm thinking, does that really move the needle for anyone? Is that even worth it? If they pay for it, it's worth it. But the bigger thing is like, I don't even know if I want to devote like a lot of time to that type of business, because I genuinely don't believe that like that is enough. I feel like there's more to I think there's more to it, and I also think the way that we build websites over the next 5-10 years is going to change drastically. So I don't know. I would just much rather I'll be candid with you. I'm having much more fun talking to you guys, creating content for you guys, sharing the things that I'm doing, partnering with brands, doing all of that stuff than I was just building websites. I'm still doing a lot of the same stuff, but I'm enjoying this business model with that skill a lot more. And I feel more fulfilled because I feel like when I get comments from you guys that say I actually helped you, it's way more fulfilling than like just getting like a testimonial. I mean, I like that too, like a testimonial about websites or whatever, but it always just feels like a little bit more like better because yeah, I mean, clients will make money from their websites, but like I feel like the actual upside of me teaching you guys stuff or sharing my thoughts and that like sparking something in your head and then you making money from that with your businesses, I kind of like that more. I'm gonna be completely honest. So I don't know. I also feel like I'm just naturally a little bit better at this than I am at like actually building the whole process of the websites. Uh, like I said, I'm not a designer, so like I've never like I haven't really hired out for that too much, and it's just like kind of force that level of the process. So um, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. We might experiment more with that, but that's current landscape of that. Where are we at here? Max says even learning a framework or React will be outdated. HTML is evergreen, just needs updating. JS as well, but it is evolving fast even on the basics. Yeah, you got to know the basics. You got to know the fundamentals. If you know the fundamentals, then hopefully wherever the thing goes, unless there's a drastic paradigm shift. That's why I'm trying. Everybody should follow Max on X because I'm trying to glean some of the information that he is sharing about AI because we're on ground zero, my friends. Like in 5 years, this is gonna be a very different world, and I wanna like not be 34 years old and think, fuck, I didn't think about AI automation, I didn't think about any of that enough. Uh, I really don't want to do that. So Troy was on Josh Hall's podcast more than a year ago. Okay, nice. I'll have to check that one out. What's your favorite part of his career, or at least favorite? Yeah, I mean, favorite part, like I was saying, is just honestly like I think learning, trying, and sharing is kind of like baked into me at this point. I love to talk, I love to learn, and I like to try that shit. So yeah, I think just like being able to connect with you guys, I really enjoy the idea of like the community aspect and just having like people. I'm not gonna lie, it's validating to like have people say, "Hey, this course was really good," or "Thanks for this video." Like it's awesome. Um, the funny part that I've seen actually recently, I've noticed it like heavily, is people get like real upset when they get dislikes on their videos. I've actually like it's weird to get like a distasteful comment from somebody, but I actually like don't care about it. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I just say thank you a lot of times, especially when it's an anonymous person. It's like, come on, man. It's like this could be a bot. If it's not a bot, I'm sorry you're going through rough things in your life, but it's just like that's I don't know. It's kind of a funny thing. So that's actually not a. I think most people would say that might be like the least favorite part of it. It's not. It's not for me. My least favorite part about this so far is a me problem, and it's that it's a 20. I'm gonna say it's a me problem. I'm gonna say it's a 2024 problem. It's the problem is that I have not been good enough and focused enough on making money from it, as you guys know from that other stream a couple 2 weeks ago. It's like it's not even that the content isn't monetarily viable. It's very monetary viable. I'm not talking about just like selling courses and shit. I'm saying like there's ways to make more money from this type of content because it's actually valuable, and do it in a tasteful way where everyone's still benefiting and getting value. And that's my least favorite thing is that I just have not been a fucking like businessman. Like I've not pitched enough. I have not tried to sell enough, and not slimy sell. Like call me out if I'm doing slimy shit. Okay, like not slimy sell. Like literally just be like, here's some stuff I need to eat. If you want to pay for it, great. If not, here's some other free stuff that you can try. Like just shit like that. I just haven't done it enough. And it was because last year I was so focused, and I'm going to continue to be focused on it, but I was so focused on like literally building authority or just like building connections really, and knowing people that were doing the same things, knowing people that were consuming the same things. And I think I did a pretty good job of that last year. Again, it couldn't have done it without you guys, so I greatly appreciate it. And it's just been that's kind of been where I'm at. So that that type of mentality and that type of just understanding all of that has really helped me. And those are kind of the things that I really enjoy about this, and some of the things like I kind of like think that I need to continue to improve on. Um, but yeah, hopefully that answers that question. It also says Troy Dean also has a WordPress plugin called White Label. Interesting. Copywriting, convincing people are in human. Bleh, can't speak. Copywriting, convincing people in human psychology is going to be forever on. 100%. Um, Human psychology. I think heavily about the psychology piece. Convincing people, yeah, like persuasion and stuff like that. Yeah. Copywriting is an interesting one. I don't know about you guys. I'll give you a hot take. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's some copywriters in here, so I don't want to like upset you. But I really think that if you're a really good prompter in Claude, you could get some, like, if you understand persuasion, you understand sales, you understand human psychology, you could really get some good stuff out of like Claude and like ChatGPT maybe as well. I'm just more familiar with Claude at this point. But so I mean, I'm not gonna pose like a hypothesis necessarily, but I'll pose a question. Like, if you're a copywriter in 2025 right now, what are you thinking, and how are you worried at all? Are you perfectly fine? Are you thinking about evolving your service offering? Are you getting any pushback? Are we too early for anybody to actually realize that you could get like, let's say that copywriter quality is like the best, okay? Like somebody's been doing it for a while. Let's say that the client writing the copy is the worst. Let's say that Claude's in the middle. Are you worried about the client being like? Because I've had people ask me this question. I've had people say, or who just said this? Did I hear this somewhere, or was I talking to somebody? I can't remember right now. Somebody either told me this directly or I heard it on a video. I'm not sure. I can't. If I think of it, I'll reference it. But my point is, I heard this. It was that clients are coming to them and they're saying, "Can you give us a proposal with AI? Can you give us a proposal with you writing the copy? And can you give us a proposal with without that? And we'll just use ChatGPT for it." So my point is that I've definitely heard it already said in the real world, in the wild, that they understand that that's a possibility. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, better, or worse necessarily. I'll leave that up to everyone in here and the copywriters to decide that. I mean, I have some general thoughts on it, but it's extremely variable still. Like it's very nuanced still. But my thought would be there, like, yeah, like, is that something that you think it's a very important thing? But do you think it's something that is becoming more replaceable by AI? And I'm really interested if there are any people that apply copy in here, like or provide copy in here, what their thoughts are. Let's see. Derek, Mark, thank you for researching my dynamic data custom scroll bar thing. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, I I don't know what I was doing. I think I didn't have the variable. It looks like you have to actually. We could look at that real quick actually, because I just tested it in mine. If we go to, I think it's test 2. Real quick, I do want to look at this. This is a follow up from the other day. So Derek had a question. I was just doing it on this, but Derek wanted it on a scroll bar. So if you're in the Bricks community, I made like a quick little video where like it works in this case because we're doing not that. Here we go. Real quick on this, there's this, if you use Bricks, there's this cool thing obviously where you can come into like a text element class or ID level, and you can come in here and you can have a dynamic color. So like you can pull it from an ACF field. Right now, this ACF field is just in an options page. So there's just an options page and it's called dynamic color, and I can change it to whatever. I'll change it to purple. Cool. Update, come out here, and you can see now this is purple. So like example 1 right here is just the built-in thing where you go pick your color, you come down here to raw, you click dynamic data, and boom. That works brilliantly, okay? But the problem is that that's only gonna work with stuff that has a UI toggle, right? So like color, like for the typography, or maybe like the background color or something like that, or anywhere where there's like a color picker in the thing. Derek wanted it in a scroll bar, okay? So you can obviously change the element of you can change the color of a scroll bar, right? But they don't have I don't think they have a scroll bar element, right? Or a scroll bar UI toggle. So I tried a couple different things. Again, go check out the Bricks. There's a 7-minute video on the Bricks thing where I was just like going through all these things. But this is the solution down here, and it seems like you can't even see it in the builder still. But down here, I'm blanking on the name, but there was a very recent post in Bricks that I saw that Brendan tagged me in, and then I tagged Derek in, and it's for example 4 down here. So you do root. You see this? You do root, and then you create. I mean, you just have a variable here essentially. And again, I'm not a CSS master. I just copied this. So you just have down here. You have like a variable in the for the color, for instance, and then you come down to attributes, and it's this whole thing where like I feel like we're importing an attribute, but it's really like it's like a style tag that ultimately ends up in the DOM. And then you're saying we want this thing, we want this variable to be this CSS variable over here to be pulled from our dynamic color custom field. And then if you just do that in there, then that ends up giving you the result that you want. And at that point, you could do something, I'm assuming, like you could go back into your CSS and you could put anything in here, whatever the thing is. So like, I think in Derek's case, you would want something like this on whatever element we were working on. And then, you could obviously change the name of this, just got to make sure it matches. But yeah, so something like that. And then that ends up working. Because I was thinking to myself, it's like they are doing this. They're just doing it via they're just doing it in the back end somehow, right? Like they're doing it via the toggles. Like this is definitely possible, and I just didn't know like the syntax to MacGyver this thing into it. And I saw some posts and stuff, and I probably didn't know what I was doing there. So, but yeah, so that kind of that's the quick TLDR on that. Hopefully that is helpful for somebody if you've ever played around with that. The long and short of that is you can dynamically like style something. Like if you want a color, like you could dynamically style basically any type of CSS property, I guess now from the color aspect or from, I don't know, any other dynamic thing that you'd want to do from the back end, like the admin. You could just change shit in like an options page or on like if you wanted a custom color. I think maybe what Derek's trying to do is like a custom color on every single like custom post type. It's actually, it opens up a bunch of ideas for like if you had like a sporting team type thing, you could have like the fields in each, like, so sports teams would be your custom post type. A field in there would be like primary color, secondary color. You set those for each post or each like sports team, and then on their single you could have like accent colors that match their actual like jersey colors. Kind of a cool concept. Just thinking of random shit. Let's see what we got here. Where are we at? Feel free to make a short video tutorial about that. Yeah, that's a very weird thing, so I might have to do that. Totally come to streams to nerd out. Yep, 100% feel that. We're all nerds here. I casually mentioned that Interpol might be interested in Chris Hughes because many lost money and then they deleted all of his content. Whoops, my bad. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I haven't watched his new channel in a bit since Kevin and I were chatting about it that one time. But the thing is, yeah, he's just like fully out of the website space at this point. So it's like kind of just like a weird, like, oh, that was a guy that we all knew kind of, so to speak. And now it's just like he's doing something totally different and he just left all that behind. And I don't know. I wish him the best, but I don't know what he's doing. Clients don't watch this type of content, meaning tutorials. It's rather fellow devs that they might. Let me move this a little closer. Might give something to you. Here it's reaching for brands and devs. Brands should sponsor you. Yeah. I mean, for sure. That's kind of the model currently. I don't know. Like I said, I've heard other things from other creators that like, they do a bunch of content tutorial things, and it must just be more different type of breed. Obviously the type of content that we're doing here a lot in Bricks world is more in depth. Do you think people are searching for that? It's probably not. It's probably more like people that are, again, like an Elementor or Divi. They've got into there, they're a business owner, and then they're like, oh, actually, I have no idea what I'm doing even in here. So can you help me? And they like search for it, and then they find those videos, and they're like, just do it for me. So that's definitely one too. And then there's even a last section of that, which I think this is really interesting. If you guys have ever seen Wes McDowell, he makes like generalized marketing, like website marketing content. Studied this for a while. I studied his method there. He has that. But his business model isn't building websites. Obviously, everybody starts there. But his business model isn't building websites. His business model is getting people to build their own websites. Is like teaching people to build their own websites. It's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy in a bad way. It's just like I would have like never thought of that. Like just teach them to build their own things. But you're not teaching them to build multiple websites or an agency. You're teaching them just to build their own website. I I understand that inherently that's probably what all of the um kind of all of the at least initial content for like Wix and Squarespace and that is probably like that. It's like you're teaching somebody just to do that one thing rather than like build something, like build a business off of it or build multiple websites. But it's just kind of crazy. Like when I looked at that, I was like, holy shit. This guy's like he's got a course, he's got a community type thing, and then I think I don't know, obviously affiliate money just from like telling them to use the things. Really interesting. If you guys haven't watched Wes McDowell's stuff, it might not be applicable, obviously, to you, but very, very kind of interesting. Interesting situation. Do, 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 do. DIY business owners actually do like watch it. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like I feel like it matters though, like what type of content, like for this level of like the bricks type stuff, dynamic things. I just think that they might watch it, they might be intrigued by it, but I don't think they're searching for it. A lot of times, I think it's more of the generalized thing that are probably are. I'm not sure. So Manola says AI is a valuable partner in copywriting that makes your process easier. Easier. Think of it like frames and other similar components that give you 80%, then you have to do the 20%. Yeah, I think it's definitely making it faster for sure. Um, and prompt engineering is extremely vital. Like AI is not good necessarily just on its own. You got to actually know how to get it to where you need it to go. Oh, I gotcha. Gotcha. There we go. That's the is that the person that posted that? Because yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that either. Yeah, but thank you. Cool. Copy is still something I get from a writer, but maybe they used AI. But I use it for documentation all the time. Yeah, for sure. Derek says I bought Chris's $88 SEO course. No way I was going to pay 200. Interesting. Did you do that, Derek? Was it good? Last I checked, Chris is in Trinidad and Tobago prison. Is he out? Not sure. Uh, yeah, just if you, it was a Nerd's World. David Doss. He was a WordPress SEO YouTuber a few years back. Now he's a travel vlogger. Derek says Wes has great videos. Yep. I've seen a lot of his stuff. Bob says, yeah, he came back to Canada, then he went back. So I heard, yeah, he's had quite the journey. Nomad said, my take is slightly different. Most web devs focus on aesthetics, that design and content can be replaced by any AI. Canva websites, for example, a website is your own space you own, not how it looks. Interesting. I got to read that again. So my take is slightly different. Most web devs focus on aesthetics. That design and content can be replaced by AI. Canva websites, for example, a website is your own space, not how it looks. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm gonna try to answer this by just kind of like giving my personal thoughts. I love the idea of having a personal website. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the idea of having a space on the internet that is my name that people can go to, and theoretically they go there to learn about me. I love that. Obviously, you have social media and you have all this other shit, but that's like the one thing we all know. Like WordPress, it's the one place nobody can like censor you. You can have it, it's yours. Da da da. We get it. Um, Open source, all that. Um, but from a marketing and just from a general perspective, and from web designer stuff, like most web devs focus on aesthetics. I mean, we might have a semantic thing just because this is a chat from Nomad here, but like that, I think that is kind of varying. I think the thing is, a lot of people that are doing websites now came from a design background. There's a lot of devs that came from a software background, but if they're doing that, they're probably in software. The people that are in like WordPress probably is a little more skewed devish, I would say. But like for Squarespace and Wix and all that, like I feel like I was literally I didn't even tell you guys about this. Fuck. I was on a call the other day regarding this I want to tell you guys more about this whole other thing, but we could talk about it if you're interested in it. This other thing that I'm doing with these colleagues in in the clothing space. I was on a call with Squarespace Enterprise the other day, and it's very interesting. Like, it was way better than I thought it was going to be. Like, way better. I'm not moving to Squarespace, okay? Because I've now have way more experience with Squarespace because the guys that I'm working with kind of like have utilized that. And the reason they've utilized that is because they were designers. And Squarespace literally says in their pitch that we're like design oriented and design focused. So they were like, let's go after the designers that want websites but don't want to go into WordPress, don't want to do anything. Let's make it easy for them. And then let's slowly integrate in features that are more like developer focused, or that like developers will be interested, or like if you're interested in dynamic data, that type of thing. I should make a video on like Squarespace Enterprise or something like that at some point. Hopefully they will pay me to make that video. I am in talks with them. I don't know. We'll see there. But I do think that you guys would be interested in it. And the reason you'd be interested in it is because you would actually have, I think we're in this situation where we have so many opinions on stuff that we physically do not have the time to actually go look and see if to verify those opinions. They're probably right, but we don't know for certain. That's at least how I feel. I feel like this is why, again, I always use Elementor as the example. I haven't used Elementor heavily recently, so I don't know how good or bad it is. I just know my experience and what I'm still dealing with like legacy clients. But the reason I'm having these problems now is because of how I had to build it before. And I feel like that's just the cost of doing technical business. It's just technical debt is like what happens. And you have to understand, your clients have to understand that. And it's very difficult for them to actually get that through to them sometimes. But my point is, like, with the Squarespace thing, is to go back to the design point, is I feel like a lot of those types of people that are using those types of web builders came from a design background. And I feel like now they're even layering like in AI and things. And it's like, what part of that process do you not like, or do you not want to do, or do you want to speed up? Because there's AI now for almost every bit of that process, obviously, but it's like all multimodal. So like, there's text, we're coming up on video, there's already image generation. It's just kind of like a weird hodgepodge of things. So like, the design content can be replaced by AI. So a website is not your own, is your own space you own, not how it looks. Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. It's kind of like your land, right? Um, I don't know. I don't know if anything I said there makes sense, but I think there's a lot more to it. But I'm very interested to see what like the majority of people end up doing as far as like utilizing AI and like how any of that evolves in the space, specifically with like personal websites, even like brand websites, even if people are going to continue to use websites. I don't know. I mean, they are, but that's how WordPress started. People building their own blog and not wanting to rely on Blogger. Yeah. I probably should have just read this one. Meaning we're focusing on building sites when what's most important is the CMS of what you own and control. I do agree with that. I agree with that heavily. I think it personally aligns with what I do because I'm not good at making things look good. I'm much more concerned with like the actual content that I have, whether it's, the tools and resources that I have, or I don't have a blog currently because I don't like writing the shit, but like the videos even are like kind of like obviously a piece of content. I know they're on YouTube, but I have them all as well. So that's the kind of thing for me. It's like I want to build more of that. I want to focus on like the actual content, the thing that makes it work. And then honestly, I'll take it one step further back into AI land. I want to build like a second brain of like AI chatbot. That's obviously not like not a normal, it's not an abnormal thing anymore. Everybody's kind of doing it. But I would love to take all the content that I produce, all the words that I produced, and see if like there's a way to, I know there is already, but like do something there where you could just ask me questions like that or something. That would be kind of cool. honest to God, I think I would ask myself more questions than other people would ask me. Because I want to, what I want to do is I do this. I've done so many things multiple times now, and I'm like, how did I do that before? And I just want to be like, figure that out. It's like, how do I do this? And Claude, for example, has helped because like you can package things kind of into the projects, and then you can give it more information and do that. But that's the thing that I want to do. Like, I don't ever want to write. If you put out enough content or you write enough shit, you should never have to like write another bio for anything. You should always just like have like a big, like this concept of the LLM. I can't believe like I didn't come up with it on a small scale before. It's like all it is just aggregated information that you can pull from and manipulate and just garnish knowledge from. It's not even really new a lot of times. It's just curation in a lot of ways. And we can talk about all the other multimodal things, but just like text of your own life. Have you ever thought about just like writing a big long book, like a story that you've had or whatever, like your autobiography? And then if you ever needed to write another bio or you ever needed to like explain to anybody, like you could just pull it out of there. But you're not like just pulling out sentences. You're just aggregating something for a specific use case. It's like, hey, write me up based on all this information that you have about me, write me a bio that hits these couple points and is specifically tuned for this event that I'm going to be speaking at or doing or whatever. Like that is just like so amazing. Like it's just so like what an efficient use of your time and the data and the information that you've already put out on the internet or you've just put into the system. It's really crazy. Derek says yes. I actually finished his SEO course. Nice. I think the channel's still there. But I don't know if there's any videos on it. Love that Nomad. Yeah, 100%. I think that is the big thing. 100% the information. Interpol might be upset when the next day's content was gone. Oh shit. Oh, did you say that to him or in there? Oh damn. Yep, it's gone. She gone. We need monthly mastermind calls on Zoom. Interesting. I mean, I'm open to that. I would love to dive into that more if you guys are interested in like what you actually like want to see. That's another thing too is like I have a mental note and I wrote it down. It's like when as I start like offering things to viewers, audience members, like that type of shit, I don't want to just like fucking guess. You know what I mean? Like even if I was offering things like brands, like I don't want to guess at what like you or anybody like wants. I would rather just ask you. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather just ask, what do you want? What do you need? What is the hugest, most biggest pain points in your life that you think that like I could possibly solve or help with, and then create an offer around that. Not like just be like, hey, I got this. I got this course on something that makes no difference to you whatsoever and you would never care about. And then I just put all this time and energy. And it's kind of like the pre-sale course model, but obviously I'm not just talking about courses. But like that's the thing is like the idea of selling something when you already know what the problem that you're trying to solve is, or like a lot of people have the problem. I think that's like a really good way to go about it. So yeah, if you guys have specifics there, 100%. Oops, hang on one second. Chris's channel's still live, but all videos, yeah, gone. She gone. Check out DocsBot AI. Interesting. We'll take a look at that. Brent said you'll have a vector database second brain by year's end. Honestly, I'm not kidding. Like I really want to do something like that, and I want to continue to add to it. I would love to maybe I should just get Neuralink. No, I'm just kidding. But I honestly I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen with Neuralink next. It's gonna be crazy. He bailed on his courses after taking money, according to the... Yeah, I did see that as well. On that last video, and it was all gone. Do you mean you will build it, or are you saying that AI will improve to the point that we'll be able to do that without any limitation? Mark Smith, just a session to brainstorm, compare notes, and tremendous value. Yeah, I'm down for that. I'll have to stew on that. We'll see what's going on. I want to go back to this one though. Yeah, Brendan, I'm not sure what you meant by. I think we're talking about. I think we were talking about like me. Brendan was probably saying that I'm gonna go crazy on that. I do want to do that. I just want to figure out a way to make things easier on myself so I can be more efficient. So in turn, I can put out more things that are of value that people could benefit from. Some free, some paid. It's pretty much the concept. Doing polls on YouTube, yeah, 100%. I think I need to do more of those. I know Toby's doing a lot of good stuff there on the poll front. I feel like it's a little weird on YouTube. I feel like there's just obviously that's where like a lot of you guys are, but I feel like there's I feel like sometimes the feed for that is just you're seeing a lot of videos. Obviously you're seeing the polls as well and like the posts, but I don't know. I just feel like still people aren't like expecting to see text stuff and like poll based things in there, but I think we're definitely gonna experiment with that. Do we have any questions? Anything else? Probably gonna wrap pretty soon on like random builder things that we want to try. I'm trying to think if there was anything that I tried recently because I feel like I was working on something. I know there was the dynamic. What's it called there? Got a couple. I'll just ask you guys directly. I had an idea. I have a laundry list of ideas. Maybe I should just run them by you. But I have a video that I was thinking about doing on like hosting because I got some questions about just like general like hosting type things. Oh yeah, I'm gonna run some of these ideas by you guys. You tell me lightning round if you like them or not. I had an idea about hosting, just like hosting basics, kind of getting up to speed. I think there's a. I mean, for you guys, you're probably like, maybe you're past that point. This is one of those types of content. Maybe it's not gonna hit with you, but the idea of like hosting, just like understanding hosting in WordPress, like super basics of there's shared hosting, cloud hosting, like whatever. There's these different companies. There's like kind of like there's managed hosting. There's kind of like the server avatar, like old grid pane style type thing. There's like all these different little things, and I feel like everything is going towards like managed hosting, so it's kind of like a moot point. But I just feel like this is one of those things. I got these questions from like designers, and they don't understand the technical side of it just because they haven't done it. And I feel like there's a little bit of an opportunity there to just put some of that content out and help those people. So not 100% sure. Toby says the polls help a lot. Nice, nice, nice. I'm gonna have to do that. Brennan said, I mean, others have built it already. Yeah, for sure. Some great resources, templates on making RAG systems with vector storage, so you have internal databases represented. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some shit there. Answers okay. Okay. Oop, my chat is popping here. It's been working great for me this polls. Interesting. Appreciate that, Toby. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely try that. Hosting is really important and would be a great topic. Okay, I love that. All right, Curtis says we're doing it. We're doing it. Elaine, hello, super late. Managed hosting would be awesome. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Elaine. Yep, gonna check that out. Honestly, like I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I haven't even like dove into like the managed hosting space enough, so I wanna look into that. Are there any more videos planned out for the client portal series? Jamie, what exactly do you want to see there? I will do that for you, my man. I will absolutely do that for you. I love the client portal concept. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like where I kind of ended it because it's kind of like on a cliffhanger, but I'm going to be honest with you. I literally left my portal, my dev portal in the same spot. It's not like I finished that and then did there. It's because I was building that to rebuild my portal and I wanted to do, obviously in bricks and everything. And you would not believe how many people like this client portal situation. It's unbelievable. I should probably make more videos on it. The trouble is that everybody is using something different. They're using Elementor, they're using, bricks, they're using whatever. And those are like the most viewed videos on my channel. And I still don't exactly understand why. Because I get it. I understand people like client portals, but like are really that many people thinking about building a client portal? I guess. It's wild. Um, did I write I feel like we've had this conversation though. Did I write some stuff down? I'm looking on my other screen for portal features. I'll tell you what I have so far here. Dashboard to show client details such as their investment amounts, payout dates regarding our ongoing investments and stuff like that. That was obviously one person. Somebody said something about Kanban for project management. I think there's a plugin specifically for that. Okay, I'm also going to give you guys another real thought here. I genuinely I go very much back and forth now on how much I want to rely on WordPress. There was a time when I wanted to build everything in WordPress, the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle, all on WordPress, everything like that, all in one place because that's awesome. And I wanted everybody to have a great experience. I agree with that still to a point, but like I also want to I've talked to people in the hosting space as an example, but I want to talk to more people to see if like that's actually a good idea. Because I feel like if you had all of those things, if you had it on one domain, it's going to get really crazy. But even if you have it on just WordPress in general on subdomains, I start to question how much how many problems you could potentially be creating for yourself with this thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't create a client portal on WordPress. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I just feel like there's a lot more things to consider when you rely on it. There's a lot of pros because you can control a lot of it, but I don't know. I don't know if you guys have any experience with that. All I know is that I created a crazy cool website in WordPress with e-commerce, memberships, subscriptions, Buddy Boss, LearnDash, all this shit. And I'm like, this is all in one domain. This is all in one WordPress install. Ton of videos like Jet Engine, Elementor, and this is getting fucking unbelievably complex. Not from a complex like I can't figure it out, from a complex from a like I'm worried that like the level of like hosting I would need to operate this at scale would be more money than me just utilizing like a third party platform. And also, this is the really big thing here, okay? Until I see a very, very good way to create an app experience from a WordPress, like obviously I'm sure we could do something like where we're taking the WordPress database and fucking porting it over an app and actually creating that. Like that's not like super easy though. That's not something that I feel like is on the level of a lot of WordPress people. Like until we see something really good there, I don't know. Like I'll give you a very concrete example, and then I'll go back to the chat here. I want to build. Let's say you want to build a community. Okay, everyone's using Circle. Everyone's using Circle. SureDash now exists and is going to get better. But can your users go on their phone and pull up SureDash? Or like can they obviously they can go to the website, but can they just click an app? There's ways around it, sure, but like until there's like that with SureDash or something in the WordPress ecosystem that's like really good. I know like Buddy Boss kind of has an app experience, but like I don't know what that's like. Like I just feel like that's a real big like hurdle for a lot of users, like the typical user, not to somebody that's like on their computer all day and stuff like that. I don't know. I just feel that that's a real thing that like for the membership stuff specifically. I mean, even the portal thing though, it's like I don't know, less for the portal, but more for the membership stuff. Where were we at here? Where were we at here? I'm in the chat. I'm lost in the chat. I'm lost in the chat. Oh man, we got a lot of chats. Okay. Um, Derek says he's a little confused by managed hosting. Um, yeah, I mean, managed hosting at a high level is just something that like they pretty much take care of it for you. Like you're buying, a box for, $20 or something like that, and you can do whatever you want, kind of like on it or whatever. But like you have, what's a good example of managed hosting? I mean, GridPane has moved to pretty much. I think they're moving to kind of managed hosting now with their new thing. Rocket.net is the one that I always use as an example. It's like you're not worried about like layering in like any Cloudflare stuff. You're getting Cloudflare Enterprise through it. You're getting, there's not the easiest way to understand managed hosting is there's less shit to play with. There's less buttons. There's less toggles. You're not picking your server provider most of the time. You're just kind of like getting something and putting websites on it and trusting that the company is going to be like good for like good like they've tuned it well and everything like that. And there's like software and all this sort of stuff that you don't see behind the scenes and you don't play with any of it. GridPane, I actually don't even know if GridPane is. I'm gonna go to GridPane right now, see what their current thing is. Yeah, let's actually look at this real quick. Just an example, because I did a live stream with Patrick Gallagher before they made these changes. Now there's a new website, and if you go to view plans, it used to be, if you guys remember, like Core. What the hell were the names of them? Core, Dev, and Dev Plus, or something like that. So now like bespoke hosting is, pretty much like if you need something crazy or whatever. but fully managed high frequency servers and stuff like that. This is pretty much, you know, like where you're kind of at. And I think there's going to be a new thing coming soon. Like, is it called WP? I don't know. Cloud. I don't know what it's called, but you can't remember. But is it up here? Um, I can't remember what I can't remember what they said it was called, um, but yeah, for like GridPane, that's like one example. They're moving towards managed. They were more of like that intermediary between like the, you know, Vultr server or something like that, and then the actual website. But now it's just kind of like all wrapped into one. They're using like boxes that you know, you have access to the root like of the box or whatever, but you don't need to have all those other features because in a lot of instances it's kind of overkill unless you really know how to like tune those things. And I'm going to tell you, I don't. Okay, I just use GridPane because I thought that concept was awesome. And I'm still on the I don't know what you can call it, like unmanaged or like self-managed hosting. But yeah, they've changed their model. Rocket.net is another one that's like that. I don't know if that was a great example, but I'm gonna need like a whole video probably to kind of explain everything there. So yeah. What do we got here? Client portal series Q to my watch list soon. Yeah, I mean, if you're building a client portal, I think it's going to get you. It's going to definitely give you some really good ideas. I did that a while ago, so I don't even remember if I've probably evolved as a creator and an educator, hopefully since then. But yeah, I'm definitely down to make more. Again, like I said, just candidly, I'm struggling with what I wanted to do in my portal. I'm struggling with the fact that I just kind of stalled because I didn't want to like actually migrate my people over the other portal. And I really want to do more SureCart stuff rather than WooCommerce because like SureCart has a lot of shit baked into it. It's just great. It's kind of my thought on that currently. How about using tools like WordPress Studio and WordPress Playground? Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. I'll add that to the list. I'm trying to think of like real good examples there. On the Playground is really cool, especially for people that are just getting into WordPress and playing around with it. And then obviously you can kind of have like blueprints or whatever they call. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to make some content there. Managed hosting is shared IP address as far as I know. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe is that shared? Like, is that shared hosting? I don't think we're talking about. I think you still get your own server box. I think it's more about the stuff that you have to change. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, the client portal series, the one that I have there is in Bricks because I was redoing it in Bricks. Um, I'm so conflicted right now between Elementor and Bricks. Kevin and the IC community have really made me question staying with Elementor. I mean, Curtis, I'm going to tell you my personal opinion is I love Bricks. I think it's helped me become a more understanding of like the web, especially from the CSS part, even though I'm not a CSS master by any means. It's a different vibe. It's a different environment. It's a different type of community, as you can tell, obviously with Kevin and the IC and just the Bricks community in general. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I use Elementor, and I used and I still have to use Elementor. And the thing that I will say is the product that I left is no longer the product that Elementor is. Like it, I actually want to go install a fresh version of Elementor just to see where it's at, so I can have like an updated opinion on it. Because I always try to like I don't want to shit on things that are not true. Like I don't want to like say, oh, this is extremely bad because it was really bad 2 years ago. So I want to be careful of doing that. There are a lot of the fact of the matter is Elementor is huge and there's a lot of people making a lot of money with Elementor websites. It just is what it is. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think it's honestly more about like kind of like I think you have to have like a you have to like think about your business and you personally like what do you want to do? Like do you want to dive deeper and build more complex things like easier? I do think that it's easier to build complex things in Bricks, 100%. The way that it's laid out currently just seems like it's way better for that. There's way more that you can do natively in Bricks, I feel like, than in Elementor, just because that's the state of the product. Elementor obviously was a pioneer in the thing, has to deal with a bunch of legacy stuff, and was built mainly for designers. Bricks was not built for fucking designers. Like it was built for developers that want a visual environment. So I think that's the main thing to consider. when you're doing that. And just think about the types of projects you've done. Think about if you like them or not, and then think about if you want to continue to do those types of projects, or if you want to do different types of projects, and then see which lane suits you best. Um, that's pretty much my overall thoughts on those. But it's a common question. Definitely not alone there. Toby says, Mark, does your client portal include invoice generation? It's highly demanded, very stressful to accomplish, and if you have done it, I'd be happy to avoid. I'd be happy to avoid doing that video. That was stressful. Toby, you are the absolute man for those types of videos. Like the level of specificity and stuff that you put into these like Jet Engine videos and stuff that I've seen is unmatched. So if you're not already subscribed to Toby, go subscribe to Toby. I would probably say that you like. There's no way that like something that I would do like that you shouldn't do. So I would encourage you to go do that. Specifically to what I have so far in that client portal thing, I would tell you just off of what I remember and what I'm doing. Like I probably wouldn't even end up doing that. So I would definitely say you should do that. I wouldn't even end up doing that just because that's not something that if I had a million people come to me and say they wanted invoicing, I'd probably figure out how to do it and do it. But I personally, when I was thinking about the portal, I was thinking about it in the way that I would use the portal, and I wouldn't send invoices. Well, I mean, let me take that back. I would send invoices like on that very first one. WooCommerce has that thing where you can create an order and then you send the order to them and it's unpaid and they can log in or pay for it right there. They kind of had it. It wasn't really a true invoice. It's also not like you don't actually get like a PDF invoice or any shit like that. So I think a lot of people would eat that up and they would love that. I think that'd be a really good idea. The other thing is that the reason I am so bullish on SureCart is because I have tried it. I've used it. I use it on my website, and I feel like I have at least some level of influence over what happens on the product. Not me because I'm making these videos, but because like they fucking listen. Like I have no idea where to tell WooCommerce what to do. No idea. Like I guess you could. There's maybe a feature thing somewhere, but there's a feature request board in SureCart. There's like I think there's a Slack. I'm not sure who's in the Slack. I don't think it's everyone or whatever, but there's like some level of like Slack feedback support type thing. And I just know the guys. Like I met them at WCUS. I've been watching Adam for a long time, and the product has evolved so much in a short amount of time. And the reason I'm bringing it up specifically is because they have invoices and they have a thing where it's like it's its own thing. It's not something you have to like MacGyver into it. So I don't know. I don't know. We're in this situation where there's too many ways to do one thing. And it's like until you're 75% into a project, you really don't even know if the thing that you're doing is going to work or not because you don't know what the client's going to end up wanting, you don't know what you're going to end up wanting. And yeah, it's just been really really interesting. So I would encourage you Toby to do that because I know that you would do a fantastic job on the invoice generation tutorial piece of that. There's a low likelihood that I end up trying to figure that out. So I'm totally down to watch yours on that one. David Doss says bricks if you want to level up. Toby says choose both. I mean, yeah, there could be both. The only thing I would say there is again, I would my perspective on that is if you are trying to build websites at scale for many people, I do think there's a lot of credence to having a very concise stack. And it's not from the sense of, I don't think it's a sense of like playing favorites. I think of it just as a sense of like, if you think of, this is why it has to revolve around your goals though. If you don't want to build like a ton of fucking websites and you just want to like have, just build a couple websites a year yourself doing whatever, or maybe if you even have like other like income or some other type of thing going on, then it's a different conversation versus if you want to have like, you want to build a ton of websites or you want to employ people and have more people build websites. In order to scale like that, your shit has to be like some level repeatable. Not even the websites themselves. I'm not talking the process. And if you had, as soon as you add, like if you're building with bricks or if let's say you're building with Elementor, as soon as you build brick sites as well, I'm literally experiencing this on a small scale and it's like annoying as fuck. Like I just said, As soon as you add in another stack, like another pillar piece of your stack, so now you literally have two stacks because you can't have the same. You can have some things that overlap, but you can't really have the same stack if you change page builders like that. As soon as you have that, now you have two processes to manage. It's doable, but it is by definition twice as hard. At least like 1.5 times as hard. You know what I mean? Like it's not the same thing anymore. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just telling you I would be wary of the consequences of doing that because now you have like bricks, ACSS, frames, whatever here, and then you have like Elementor and or Elementor Pro, and then any sorts of fucking add-ons that you have, and then you got to make sure that those add-ons don't get subsumed into the core of Elementor, because if they do, now like I've literally had this happen 3 times. Like there's multiple different add-ons, and then they end up conflicting with stuff in Elementor, and like my styling's all messed up and shit. So it's just that's literally what's going to happen in both cases potentially. You know what I mean? Bricks I think is less susceptible because you need less add-ons, and the really good add-ons in the brick space are pretty like up to date with like keeping the stuff together, and it's more of like a stripped down way of building really awesome things. Where Elementor land is like bricks has pre-made elements and stuff, but I think most people that are in the bricks lane they are literally just basically dragging HTML onto a canvas, like the main 6, 10, like whatever elements. But in the Elementor lane, it's like the whole community and the whole product is more focused on the pre-made elements and the pre-made design things. And it depends because you could use Elementor the other way, but it's just those are the things that you have to think about. And if you adopt the style of like kind of more the stripped down approach and just like the visual HTML assembly, you might be fine either way. So I'm not trying to give you an answer, just trying to give some content on there, because I do believe that as content creators, we're in a different lane. We have to kind of have a little bit of an understanding of across the board. But if I was an agency owner making zero content whatsoever and I was just making websites, I would probably just have like one thing, know it really well, and just absolutely fucking put that shit on repeat as much as possible. So that's probably what I would do. Just some thoughts. Toby says, I don't choose. I use the best builders and I never rely on one at a time. Yeah. I mean, if it works, it works. You know what I mean? It's whatever you want to do. I just do think that there's, depending on your goals and where you're at, there's different reasons to use each builder for sure, but there's different pros and cons for each of them. Yeah. What is my go-to security plugin? Well, I used WordFence for a little bit. Then I used iThemes before it became Solid Security. Currently with the grid pane setup, I'm just using Fortress, which is kind of like built in there. It locks everything down. A lot of different things. If you go to gridpane.com/fortress, I think you could see it if it's still at that URL. But yeah, Calvin Alkin, he knows a lot more than me about security. So he's always interested. He's always happy to chat, I'm pretty sure, about all that sort of stuff. But yeah, Fortress mainly, but it locks it down. I mean, the big things you have to obviously worry about are like cookie stealing and shit like that. So it's locking all that down. It's locking down. You literally like it has things where you can't install plugins. You can't like have. It has 2-factor built in. Like it has all that sort of shit. Now that's mainly GridPane, but I think they sell that on other things, and I think he might end up. I don't know if he's gonna end up partnering with different ones or stuff like that, but yeah, you guys know Calvin, Command UI. So. Other than that though, I do want to mention PatchStack, because I never got PatchStack. I had it in the free version a little bit, but the concept of like knowing knowing when the things are vulnerable and then virtually patching them, whatever that was doing, that was sick to me. I haven't looked into it recently, but I would also look into PatchStack. If you can't get Fortress, I would look into PatchStack, see if it meets any of your needs. Is the Climb Port an alternative Basecamp, etc.? I mean, yeah, yeah, like David just said, like it could be. It really depends though on what you want to do. Like, I mean, again, if you're using Basecamp, okay, it's the thing. It's like you have to understand that when you do that, you are building a SaaS within WordPress. It's a mini SaaS for yourself, but it's like it's a SaaS product in WordPress. So you have to manage a SaaS now. It's different than managing a website. It's you're managing the thing. I can't tell you guys how much like
it's not really, but like the level of anxiety that I have that I'm managing a SaaS for my clients in an Elementor WordPress install right now because I never finished the Bricks one and I have it in, you know what I mean? It's like nobody's logging in there currently the way that I have it. They should be if you're like doing it well, but then it's just like it's it's this thing where it's a really cool concept and I'm still like bullish on it, but you have to like really care about it. And then the amount of work that you have to do it, you have to make sure that you're actually like selling it to your clients. I didn't do a good job of that. I built the thing, it was fucking awesome. I was super happy with it. And then I was like, nobody is coming in here. Like nobody like it's cool that they logged in at first, they paid their bill, they set up the subscription, and they never did it. Like in some ways that's a cool thing. But like let me go back. If you build this client portal, the way that I would tell you to do it is make them rely on it. And I'm going back to what I said earlier. I would make them rely on it so much so that they have to use it. Like their shit is not getting done unless they put the support ticket in via the portal or they go there to, I don't know, like have meetings with you. Like I don't, here's my thing. My thing is the reason that it's there, like the minimum viable product of a client portal is so they understand where your billing is and it's easy to get to. It could be on your main domain. I've seen people do that. I think it gets a little clunky. I think it's better to put it on subdomain and have a link to it in like your footer or something like my account and go to it. That's how all the SaaS products work. I don't know if you've ever seen like Elementor or anything like that. I stole that completely right off of them. It's like my.elementor, you know, like just that whole concept. That's, you know, everybody does that. They have their marketing website on one thing and they have their platform on the other. That gets a little funny though. It doesn't get. You could still do it, but sometimes it gets a little funny if you do like affiliate stuff. Um, but we could talk way more about the portal. But the last thing, high level on this one there is that um, it could be an alternative to a SaaS product, but just realize that you're not getting the SaaS benefits. Again, like I talked about the app thing, you're not getting the app thing. You're not getting like any level of support outward from that. You are literally managing your whole platform, which is different than managing like a website. So just be aware of that if you're going to build that. And again, is it worth your time to build it if they're not going to actually go to it and utilize it and put like, you know, support requests in there and see their support requests and see their timeline for everything that they got going on and all of that. And download their contracts and everything. A lot of that stuff was built into that portal series, but not all of it. And again, you have to make sure that they do it. If you were building I'll tell you one thing, the last thing on this. If I was building that portal again, I would absolutely build a portal like that for a self-service, like a self-service productized service. If the productized service thing happens, they're gonna have a place where they know that they can go and they can see their shit and they could cancel their membership, they can upgrade their membership, they could see all their stuff. That is 100% it. The weird part was when like I was literally communicating via email with all these people and the portal was there and like there was a lot of value over there, but they didn't, you know, they weren't utilizing it. So I just don't want to see you guys put a ton of fucking work into something, spend a lot of time and energy doing it, and then not get what you need. So you have to make sure that the people are going to end up using it. I think that's incredibly important. Toby says, I know Kevin says a lot of things against Elementor, but in the end, you actually need to test stuff against yourself. I currently use Bricks, but I learn every Elementor release. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we just gotta. We all only have so much time. It's physically impossible to like know every single thing. So I try to not be like, you know, Divi 5 is a piece of shit without actually trying it because I haven't had time to try it. You know what I mean? So that said, though, um, I think the thing we all need to remember is like why, kind of like who the things were built for. As I was talking about earlier, Squarespace, they literally told me it was built for designers. Elementor, we know it was started built by designers, and we know when it was built. So like, there's a lot of things there. Bricks, newer, built for devs, less legacy shit. It's just it is what it is. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying it's the best for you, but if you take those things into account, then you can kind of think you could start to make an educated decision, and then you could spend some time and watch some videos on people that are actually doing this stuff or whatever. That would be my thought. Jamie says, I haven't finished the series yet, so maybe go into details about some of the stuff. I would love to go into custom endpoints because WooCommerce is not very customizable. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's one of the reasons, honestly. Like this was always a pain in the ass, like WooCommerce in general. Um, it was always tough for me around that. That's why like SureCard has been such a, amongst other things, SureCard has been something that has been interesting to me. It's got affiliate wrapped in there. It's got all these things wrapped in it, like the top tier, where you're not adding a bunch of different other like, you know, add-ons and things. But I will make a note of the custom add-ons right now. Let's see if there's anything else, or custom endpoints rather. Let's see if there's anything else in this one here. Interactivity with the users. Asking a client to complete their profile. Pending tasks. See, that's the other thing, man. It's like, how are you going to create a task? I mean, there's ways to create task manager, obviously, but it's like now you're utilizing a task manager. Look, I'm not trying to talk you guys out of building a fucking portal, okay? I'm not trying to talk you out of this. I'm just trying to explain the gravity of this, okay? Because I was in this and I was like, I have 5,000 ideas and I know every single one of them is going to get more and more time. And it's like, are these people going to use this? Think about a task manager. Think about a project manager in WordPress. If you don't do some crazy shit, you're going to have to manage that in the CMS of WordPress, which is not terrible for some things, but a fucking task manager, probably not the best. Obviously, there's like ways I'm sure you could do interactivity on the front end too or whatever, but you are literally building a fucking SaaS at that point. Like you're literally doing some crazy shit in WordPress that is possible, but is way outside the realm of the norm. So my point is like maybe consider leveraging the things that are already built and integrate them back into that portal. That's one way to do it too. I have no idea where we'd even start there. You'd probably have to talk to guys like Brendan, or maybe we could create some content together on something like that. I'm saying like have something where, because again, if I this is how I work out of like Google Tasks, and I have Google Tasks on my computer and I have it on my phone, and it's in an app format on my phone. Okay, well, like I'm checking shit off like when I'm anywhere or doing whatever. I'm not always like on that website logged in to that portal. And I tried doing this, and it's just like I couldn't get in a rhythm of doing that because it wasn't extremely accessible. It wasn't a click away. So I don't know. It's just another thing that like I'm not saying these problems aren't solvable, but they are problems. They are going to be problems, or things that you're going to need to overcome. Does managed hosting mean that I don't have to update plugins and themes? So I don't think that's the case. I think I will say that the reason people are moving towards managed hosting is because it's like more of a managed experience. So I know like GridPane and possibly Rocket.net. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but like main WP, managed WP, those types of things, Umbrella, you know, WP Umbrella, like they all have like kind of pioneered and have like created this thing where it's like outside the realm of, you know, it's outside the scope of it's its own plugin or its own SaaS product that like manages WordPress stuff. But a lot of them, they don't have like hosting themselves. It's a no-brainer for somebody to host and do that shit. It's a no fucking brainer. I know some places are already doing that, but I think that's what GridPanes and the Rocket.nets are probably going to move towards, because they're like, hey, you're hosting your stuff here. Let's continue to provide you added benefit, especially so, you know, you don't leave our hosting for something better. But even if you were going to consider leaving our hosting, you're getting, you know, maybe uptime monitoring, or you're getting automatic theme and plugin updates, core updates, all the sort of shit. Could you imagine like this might already exist. I don't know to what effect, and I haven't heard about it, so it's probably not like crazy big. But if you guys know about this, let me know. If you know something like this, imagine GridPane kind of does some of it, but it's the UI is on the is being upgraded and everything. Could you imagine? Because I know GridPane is moving towards this. Could you imagine a host that manages all that sort of shit and like does all the things that like main WP or managed WP does? They already kind of do that, but I think we're moving towards a world where you have to end up doing hosting and all of those like cool features that we know of from those other products out there. Like currently, I use GridPanes, like server control panel, Vultr servers, main WP. It's a nice blend, but if I could have it all in one place, it's kind of attractive. I'm not saying it's best or right, best or I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's like it's kind of attractive. So that's kind of the thought process there. But I don't think managed hosting inherently updates those things. Toby said, is Kevin up to date with what's going on in Elementor? Maybe, but are you? Am I? Kevin's a professional, true, but you also need to test stuff out for yourself and find how it works. Yeah, 100%. I think the only way to know the truth about shit is to actually look at it yourself for sure. So yeah, take everything I say with a grain of salt too. 100%. How are you managing your time and projects? Are you using Notion or another tool? You've been very consistent, so I'd very much like to dive into your systems. Jamie, I'm 100% happy to tell you about the systems. I'm looking at Notion right now. That's where I have some of these things. I'll give you a high level, and I could definitely do more things. I could give you, but the problem is like I have two businesses effectively going on. I have like the content business, Samansky Media, and then I have like the design, the web design and marketing business, Find It Tech. At a super high level, Find It Tech is web design, website management, maybe a little bit of like SEO or whatever, and just like dealing with brands to build websites ultimately is what that was. That's what it started as. For project management with that, I used the client portal to a degree. Like, for some of those things, I used it for billing. I used it for the recurring. I used it for some project management, and so they could log in and they could see like their documents and all that sort of stuff. So I never had like a Basecamp equivalent. That was always that worked pretty well. Google Drive for some other documents and things. That's kind of where I think that's where I was storing some of the documents. I think I would probably tweak that depending now. I think I really would need like some level of like actual storage for that. That's not Google Drive. Could probably use Google Drive, but I don't like duplicating shit. I don't like repeating myself or like having things in certain places. It's a weird, I'd have to really think about that. Other system stuff for Find a Tech. I used HubSpot for a while to track the deals. So like client list in the leads, deal management, deal flow. I loved HubSpot, the free version. I tried to upgrade because I want to do more of the email marketing thing. It's fucking ridiculously obnoxiously expensive and is not worth it in my opinion if you're just like a small medium business. There's way better options out there. But I think you need something for your deal flow. If I was doing that now, here's my problem with ClickUp and fucking Notion and all these other ones. From what I know, I could be wrong. Here's my problem. I wanted to not use Notion. The reason I wanted to not use Notion was because I was using like Google Tasks and stuff like that for all my little things. And I was like, I really want something that's better. So that's why I went to like the project management with the portal, because it was like custom post type based. It was dynamic. You need that in certain cases for like a project management, task management type thing. Here's the problem. I didn't want to go into Notion because I know myself. I know that this fucking platform is really powerful. I've seen all the cool things people have created, and I'm like, I really do not want to waste time creating these systems while I'm still like a one person situation on in that front and everything, on the web design stuff and even kind of on the content stuff. I don't want to waste time like creating these cool layouts and all this stuff because I'm not going to do any work. Okay, like if I don't create a good system, I'm going to spend time creating a good system, not getting work done. But then I realized that now I'm looking at Notion and I do pay the subscription thing literally just because of the little automation type fucking things that I built into a couple of these pieces. My problem with Notion, my problem with like the ClickUp. I tried ClickUp. If you look at the ClickUp things, like if you look at the ClickUp templates, they have a thing in there where it says like a CRM. ClickUp is not a fucking CRM. It is not. It's not doing CRM things. CRM things is like you have an actual database of people. You have relationships between the people and the companies. And then really a CRM is like actually intertwined with your comms, with your communication. Hopefully, I mean, I don't like talking on, well, I'll talk on the phone, but like, I'm not doing a lot of phone calls. I'm not tracking all that, but like at minimum, it's tied into my email. HubSpot, amazing for that. Like like you could just connect it to your Gmail or your Google Workspace or whatever, and then it would send you a notification when people open your emails. I mean, for free. It was all for free. I would look into the free version of HubSpot, but the trouble is like you're just not gonna be able to upgrade because it's stupid. Like it's just stupid. But anyway, my point is that I love Notion for the amount of dynamic stuff and all that sort of things. But like, and now they have the calendar thing, which is like getting close, but it's still like, I don't know. I just want like when you're actually managing like deals and like there's segments of it, right? So pre-sale, that's a whole other thing that I don't know. I mean, I think you need a different tool for that. You could manage some of the things, but for instance, right now, I have two main like pages that I'm working with in Notion for the content business. I have a video planner. It's got like idea, research, filming, editing, packaging done, right? So I have a ton of ideas and I move them through that thing, and it's a little bit of automation because that page is connected with my sponsorship tracker, and that has like prospect, pitched, paid, needs assigned, like whatever. And then when I move things in different areas and relate things like we do with relationships in WordPress, you can relate things in Notion, then it works all together. My point is that this Notion tool, I think sometimes people are like confusing this with pre-sales tools, like actual sales tools, and I don't think that that's one of the things that I've ran into because I've tried to use them for that. And I'm like, this is lacking in those. But for project management, for like organization, things like that, Notion seems to be crazy. There's probably a lot of information for not a ton of stuff, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I'm managing all the content and everything like that. Uh, and then unfortunately, my my inbound task list is basically my emails. So like I have a task list that's just generalized. I used to have separate task lists for all like my personal and my two businesses. Didn't fucking work. So I just have like today and in the task pool. It's been much better like that. And then I've recurring tasks and shit like that on the calendar, which is separate. But those tasks right there are basically a lot of times it's just like if like I don't get too many client requests with the recurring stuff, but when they request, it's just in the inbox. I take care of it. I click send and archive, and it's done. Like so and that's not the best route either. Like depending on what you're doing, you probably want to like document all that. That's why I don't like the email route. I would really love to do like a portal thing, but again, it's just like you have to make sure your people go that route. You have to almost go to the route where it's like if you email me, I'm not gonna fucking respond. Like if you text me, I'm not going to respond. You have to go through this route. And it's very difficult to do that with a client that's used to that. So that's why I tell you guys, like if you go this client portal route, you have to lean the fuck in. I really believe that because it didn't work for me. Like it worked okay, but it could have been way better. All right, a lot of stuff there. Elementor is giving a bad rap to WP. Clients can't distinguish the difference, and they usually have horrid experience with it breaking. I mean, I think there's a lot there, and I don't know if I'd blame Elementor specifically. I'd probably blame like the general user of Elementor. The average purchaser of Elementor is probably not educated in what we talk about all the time of like making sure that clients understand what's going on. And then I think that like the people that end up using it, the clients that end up using it, perhaps like end up getting confused or something like that. Also, guys, I'm going to tell you truthfully, I've never handed off a site. So I know that some of you guys might do that and other people, like I never did that. I just never had that experience. And it's probably because I haven't built as many websites as some of you guys. I never did it. I was always like, look, we're going to build this. We're going to manage it for you. I don't even want you in the fucking site. I mean, you're definitely not going to go in the builder. I have had to do that a couple times. And I've said, listen, you don't want to be in here, but I'll let you go in there. It's your site. You own it. I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm not going to tell you can't, but I really don't think you want to. The CPT level stuff I think actually works really well. If you lock the admin down, you can just let them feed in blog posts. Blog posts are a little weird with the block editor, but like anything else that's just like without the editor enabled, really good. But I don't know. I mean, I think that Elementor is becoming ubiquitous. Like they're running like ads and things that are like WordPress related, and the WordPress related ads are almost like becoming bigger than WordPress in some ways. Like it's like use Elementor. I could see themselves like doing their own CMS. I'm not saying they are. I just like that's the level that they're at, and that's why I think there's probably a lot of like kind of confusion there. Yeah, and it's been around for a long time. It's easy to get into, and yeah. Derek says he's versed in WordPress, Bricks, Divi, Wix, GoDaddy. Yeah, it's good to be diversified. Faux show. It's not about Kevin and what he's saying. It's about Elementor being a crap builder. I mean, again, the only thing I would say there, David S, is like, are you using it currently, or are you using like the current version, or are you like me where you had like legacy stuff on there as well? That'd be my one question. Elaine, Mark, have you looked into or set up WP headless website. I haven't, but something I'm interested in. I haven't personally done that. I've talked to people about that. I've used some like headless stuff, I guess, kind of like SureCart in a way. Brendan, if you're still here, have you done that? Have any of you guys, Toby, have you guys done headless stuff? I haven't played with enough. I want to say Brendan has talked to me about it, but that's one of those things where it's like that's cool, but I just haven't dove into it yet. Shared hosting is shared IP address. Okay, yeah. I don't think that's all managed hosting then. Shared hosting can be managed hosting. Oh wow. Oh shit. We are. Am I 30 minutes behind in this? Fuck. Sorry guys. Damn. I just kept talking, huh? Shared hosting is not equal to managed hosting. Yeah, I got it. I'm also interested in SureCart. I think it's better for us service providers and online products. WooCommerce makes it easier for physical products and shipping and such and far. Yeah, and SureCart does do physical now and everything. They have that capability. WooCommerce is like, if you have like a situation where WooCommerce, you definitely want, if you have a very, very strict requirements, because SureCart is still kind of like new-ish. But like I said, like they're moving very quickly. Pinegrow just added multi-file editing with AI, like the composer functionality in Cursor. Damn, I have not tried Cursor and I have not tried Pinegrow. I lean on you and you, Max and Brendan for that. I gotta up my game there. If you do a Sure members vids, you could set up to invite some of your YouTube peoples. Yeah, I mean definitely. I also want to do a video on. I'm supposed to do a 10-year reunion for our class, our high school class. And I wanted to set up a website for that because not everyone has Facebook and shit. And I thought that'd be a cool project to do. I just don't know if anybody's going to use that, but it doesn't matter. It'd be cool content. Just generation of invoice and stuff easy build. Gotcha. For the client portal. Derek, nice. Toby, there we go. Match made in heaven. Toby did a great video. Fluent Community, yep, Fluent Community. I haven't tried Fluent Community yet, but I have seen Dave McCann's and Toby's video on those. Looks sick. Just deleted all tweets until October 2020. It's not like evergreen content. It feels like better. Feels better to not feed the grok too much. Probably late though. Oh, did you delete before that? Damn. Well, you're gonna have to start a blog, Max, on all the AI stuff. Anyone knows WooCommerce and GeneratePress well? Can I pass a job? Yeah, if anybody has a job, Sinan's got one there. I don't know GeneratePress at all, so absolutely, Toby. How you manage your time? It's crazy out here. Yeah, yep. I know I'm behind on that. Got that one. It's one of my long ones. Stop using 2 bonus. Oh, 2,000 subscriber. Let's go. Derek Short. Rob Hughes. Yep. Lex, what's up? How we doing? Pretty much the only guy here without a channel. Bob, we got to get you making videos. Hell of a channel name too. Just Bob. That would be sick. Absolutely would be sick. I want a world where we all have something to share and share it. Yeah. Learn, try, share. That's it. We are getting closer to the end here. Let's see. Yep, 100%. Everybody should have one. Nothing to offer but political opinions. It's getting old. I mean, everybody needs stuff. Honestly, like political content does very well. I mean, it's just like everybody always like listens to that. WooCommerce, Elementor, SaaS, yeah. Anything can have value. Look at yourself. You're back. Yeah, 100%. 100%. What have I learned? Yeah, a ton. I've literally done a ton. Mark, do you follow your SOPs well? I struggle with mine. I forget. Yeah, I mean, you have to. I feel like you have to do them. And honestly, that's another good thing is like I heavily thought about doing another like portal. Like, see, I'm having these ideas before I get to the fucking spot where I have them. Like for instance, so you have your client portal, right? That's where your clients interact and everything like that. And then you could do two things. You could you could have one portal, right? And your singular portal like that could be dual, how do you call it? Like dual like facing, so to speak, or like dual like you just have everything on that subdomain. So for instance, when users log in that are under a certain role, they see and they interact with the portal. But you could create a situation where like somebody else with a different user role logs in and they're like, and they see like kind of the admin backend, either the admin backend of WordPress, and they have options there, or you just like create another one. My point is like a place where all my SOPs could be. There are too many goddamn SaaSes out there that you could use for all this stuff. The trouble is that the broader you get with all those tools, now you're like dealing with different UIs, you're dealing with different, you're dealing with all this sort of different stuff, different like protocols on how to get in, logins, and all that sort of shit. It is really cool to have everything in one place. If you can manage it, you host it well, it doesn't go down, all that sort of stuff. If it's accessible, you're just again missing that kind of mobile piece other than just like a mobile website. So my thought is there with around the SOPs, I thought like, oh, I should make like an employee portal or something like that when I didn't have any fucking employees. Like I should just like put my SOPs on there. I did have some FAQs and stuff in the client portal, but like that was one of the ways, because that would be an easy, relatively easy thing to do. You know what I mean? Like just something that has like basically custom post types, and you could create that, with like little like maybe videos that you could throw in there and text and all that. I don't know. That'd be really cool. Do I follow them? I mean, I follow them to some degree. I am kind of like process focused. So once I did find something, like figure out and like actually write something down, I did kind of follow it. The trouble is, it's not that I didn't follow it, it's that I quickly thought like this isn't good enough and I need to like make it better. And that's like a real, that's how business is, but it's a real tough thing when you're just like one person, because it's very hard to build the processes and do the processes at the same time. You almost need people to do the processes, report back to you on what's wrong, and then like you can fix them for them, because it's just like there's almost not enough time to do it all. uh you know that's kind of my thought on that. um Jamie says, how are you handing off, okay, how are you handing off a website to a client? How do you set up the back end for them, and how much access are you giving them? The back end is not very flattering as it is. Yeah, hopefully it gets better. Hopefully it gets more, like the admin of WordPress gets nicer looking. Hopefully it gets more, it would be really cool if you could turn shit on and off. There have been a couple ways that I've done this. The first way was just change their user role and change like the stuff with like user role admin plugin or whatever, which is like free and you could just download that. Gets a little weird though, because like you have to know what all those different permissions are and shit. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is there's a couple paid ones. I correct me if I'm wrong. I think ASE, admin site enhancements, does some stuff that might help you. I'm not sure to what degree. Another one that I've tried before was literally like is it called admin menu editor, and the pro version is pretty cool. Like you can kind of like white label some things and delete a bunch of stuff. It's kind of like oldish, like the way that it's developed, but it worked pretty well. I don't have it anymore, but it worked for a time being. And all that's going to help you with the back, like the back end of the WordPress admin. I'm sure a lot of these other guys in here could give you thoughts as well. But specifically, like what I did, I never handed them off like the site like fully. I never had a situation like that. I just was like, we're building it, we're going to maintain it, we're going to host it, we're going to do all this stuff for you. You're not going to have to worry about updates or anything like that as far as like the technology on the website. If you want blog posts, if you want team members updated, if you want all that stuff, it's varied over time, but I would say like if you want to do that for them, fucking charge them. If they don't want to pay for it, then charge them for the training of how to do it. Like don't just like do that completely for free, roll that into the price or something, but just be like, okay, we can either handle that for you. You can, hopefully you have a flow for that, not just like an email where they just send random shit. It would be really cool to put that in the portal and put like, have it automatically know what website they are based on who they're logged in. I tried to do this a little bit. It kind of worked. Tried to imagine they go into the portal. They automatically know, you automatically only can select from the website or websites that they have. They click a drop down there. They go, what tasks do you want to do? And you have different tasks that they can have based on their thing. So it'd be like, add a team member, and then it populates with the fields that you need. And you can, honest to God, you'd have to do an integration here because we're talking about the portal to go to their website. You could honestly though, just fucking automate that. Like you could just put like, you wouldn't even have to do manual work. You could just go to the website and click like an approve button. I did this on a website one time. I had a client, they want to add blog posts, and they want to do, and I wanted them to do it themselves, but I didn't want to like, at the time I didn't want them to go into the back end of WordPress. So I did like a hidden page where they log into the page just with like a passcode, and then they can put in the fields. And it was like with ACF front end or whatever. And then it takes that information and puts it in the website. It automatically approved it in that case, but you could just make it in a case where like, just to make sure that nothing is bad or breaks or anything like that, you could make it so you click a button, it gets approved. I'm just saying, like, if you want to limit the amount of work you have to do, but also do what you say you're doing, as in like approving the content, you can make it automated and then just approve, double check and approve it, rather than like having to take it in from like your email or wherever the hell it would come in, copy and paste it into somewhere else. I'm just giving you ideas, but yeah, it's not flattering back there in the back end, and I think that I haven't done anything personally to make it look nicer. I think Paul WP Toots has looked at a lot of different things to make it look more visually appealing. But I really think that the big thing with WordPress is just locking it down so they don't touch any of the shit that they could break, because there's a lot of shit they could break. Like, definitely don't give them admin privileges. Last thing on this, okay? I think this is a good idea. This might be a gold nugget. If you're a member, throw a gold nugget in the chat. I think that what you should do is you should have a backdoor or a contingency plan. Not going in if you're like a one-man band or whatever, or even if you're a small company, I think what you should do is you should have if you treat the websites as like they paid for the full development of the website and it's theirs, they own it and they're just paying you to service it, they should have admin access, but it should be in an emergency case basis. You should have an email that is admin. You should have that so they know that email is admin, and if they ever need it, they can log into the website and they can reset the password, or if they have the password or whatever. Tell them to hold on to that, put it behind a glass door with a sign that says "in emergency use case only, break glass," like a fire hydrant, okay, or fire alarm or whatever. Like that is what you should do. They should have another thing that is what we talked about there, where they can have access to the CPTs and all that sort of stuff or whatever. They should have a different email address, a different user on that, because what that gives you the ability to do is they can day to day over there. And if there's ever an issue, like heaven forbid something happens, or, they're not totally fucked, and they won't like literally hate you because their website is inaccessible if like something happens to you, or you just, for some reason, I don't know. I wouldn't say you would want to ghost them, but that's my thought. As I started doing that, and I think I feel much better, because I know if like I die, then they can at least get into their website, because it's without it, it's whatever. It's not ideal. Okay, I'm getting hungry, so we got to end this pretty soon. SOPs are to educate process to others, to remind yourself what needs to be done, or remind, yeah, 100%. If you're gonna scale, you're definitely gonna need to do that, because a lot of people have the shit in their minds, and then like they can do it real well, but then they try to bring somebody on, and it's not possible. When are you getting a new branding makeup? Are we talking about like our MJS and everything like that? I have no idea. I built that myself. I bought that font that the MJS is in a long time ago, and I haven't had a reason to change it just yet. Yeah, if that's what we're talking about. Good point. Oh, rebranding. Yeah. Not sure. Woo is actually very customizable, but you need to code extensions. Yeah. Tarek, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah. I think I would rather buy a subscription to Basecamp or something. Client Portal sounds like a lot of work and risk. Yeah, I mean, it's 100% a lot of work. If you want to do it like big time, like if you want to do everything, I don't know what Basecamp offers, but I would absolutely like look at that before you go and you spend a lot of time doing the other thing. I'm not saying Client Portal is bad. I think it's really cool. But yeah. Where are we at here? A mini series on getting clients, building for clients, handing off clients could be popular. Okay, I like that. I'm writing that down. I'm actually gonna just take a little screenshot of that bad boy. Appreciate that, Bob. Managed hosting means that they take care of your server upgrades, security, troubleshooting. It does not mean that someone will manage your WordPress install. Yeah, I think that's extra. I don't know. I don't. Somebody might have that part, but that might be extra. Yeah, I appreciate that, David House. Yeah, I think we're that definitely articulates it. I don't. There is something that GridPaint had where like it was like extra support like that. I don't know if they still do. Curtis like SiteGround. Yeah, I've heard. I mean, I've heard things. I've watched things. I've never used SiteGround personally, but might be something. I've heard mixed things like since like the big boom of SiteGround. Like I don't know if there's I don't know what it's like now. I'd have to look into it. I think managed hosting is overrated. All they do is have an optimized configuration for the database and the web server, input, output, and CPU and configuration and limitation, RAM allocation towards databases and more. All this can be done. All this is done once they provide the service and it's still being billed monthly. That's a good point, actually. Like but it's kind of like every other SaaS almost, because like they're still going to tweak some things. They're just not going to tweak as much as they did in the very beginning, or they're not going to build as much as they did in the very beginning. So I kind of don't disagree entirely there, Tarek. And obviously, like we have a past relationship, Tarek and I. So like I understand like where everyone's situation is vastly different. Not just all the shit that we talked about earlier today, like what we're building and all that, but also like where you're at in the world, the economics of what fucking makes sense, even what you have available to you. So yeah, I think correct me if I'm wrong, Tarek. Like, I think like like a server avatar or something with like Hetzner hosting as an example, something could be way more fucking cost effective than like managed hosting, like 100%. The only thing I would say is we've been on this several times. I feel like throughout in different ways, is it really depends on your goals and it depends on who you are. If you don't want to fuck around with the server at all, then maybe you're okay with paying more money for like the peace of mind of having a managed experience. Um, it's interesting to see where the industry is going because I feel like everyone is going that route, like with their offers. So I don't know. Look up Jennifer Bourne and her project profitable. Can't speak. Little. It's a tongue twister. Profitable project plan. She's one of the best I could find in space dealing. Teaches you dealing with nurturing clients. I'm gonna look her up. Jennifer Bourne. Thank you. I get lost in Notion. Sounds like a good topic for a Markspace. Yeah, I might have to try that. Someone scanned the QR code. That's crazy. Can you see that up there? Interesting. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you saw that. There was a little pop up that said someone scanned the QR code. That's really interesting because I think that means that they scanned the QR code on the um, other one. Yeah, on the X Spaces one. That's interesting. I don't know if you guys could see that or not, but I saw something pop up and there's like a QR code in the top of the Kevin and mine's, like when I streamed it yesterday, there's a QR. Somebody scan it again. Are you guys scanning that code? I don't know if you guys can see that or not. That's funny. That's actually hilarious if that shows up on stream. I need to know if that shows up on stream. Yeah, you can't see it? Oh shit, that's crazy. I don't know if I like that. I can turn it off, but I don't know if I like that. I do have to make that Notion video, I guess then. To manage project, okay. Odoo, okay. A lot of CRM support emailing directly to the task. Also, you guys are spamming the QR thing. I'm turning it off. That's sick though. It would make more sense if we had a QR code today. That's a really good thing for a live sales thing if somebody's scanning the QR codes. This is Restream, by the way, if anybody wants it. marksmansky.co/Restream. A lot of CRM support emailing directly. Oh my God, I'm losing my voice. Hang on. Pause. Buddy, we're going on 3 hours of just talking here. This is crazy. You guys are awesome. Also, having good AI, so good now that you can create a pipeline where emails are being dealt with in the proper way. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, headless WP with GraphQL. I have a video on using WP as headless MS, but Web Studio as front end. I don't really know React well though. Yeah, we're getting into the realm now where we're just like integrating like so many different things. So it's not really enough to just know WordPress. Now we got to figure out this other shit. Check it out. Definitely check out Brendan's stuff. Well, the use case there would be so many alternatives to CMS now that WP headless doesn't make much sense to me. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to explore it further. We should start an open source CRM for agency owners. Does that exist yet? Because that'd be kind of interesting. Browser extension that could help record. Oh yeah, I've seen that. Is it Scribe? ASE, yep, solid. Bob, thank you for being here. Greatly appreciate it. It's a great tip for somebody just started in the new freelance journey. Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, just anything I say, just take it as your own. I guess client familiarity with WP as CMS, getting clients to use Directus hasn't panned out for me, even when they like the demo. Yeah. FreeCamp. Oh yeah, FreeCamp. I heard FreeCamp. I've heard of FreeCamp. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy with the QR code thing. You don't know where it comes from. Yeah, yeah. QR codes on screen for their live vids and webinars. Yeah, definitely need to do that. That's just a restream feature. You can like add a QR code. You put a link in, add a QR code, and then you can pop it up on the screen and do it. But I guess people were on the other stream. The QR code is still like in the system, but it's on the other stream. So when people are clicking it, it should be like only when the QR code's on stream, I feel like. But I don't know. People are like like somebody must be scanning the QR code over on the previous stream from yesterday. Like literally like pulling it up and clicking it. It's kind of cool. It actually is really a sweet system. But yeah. Yep, I gotta go too, Davidas. Thank you guys all for being here. I'm extremely hungry, so I gotta go eat. It's been great, as always. Thank you guys so much for the support. I greatly appreciate it. If anybody wants else to become a member, just click on the little join button below the video. More perks coming, cool emojis, all that jazz, little badges. Yeah, other than that, we got a lot more work to do, a lot more content to create. If you guys have any thoughts, anything like that, follow me on the socials, DM me, hit me up, send me an email about things you want to see. And yeah, all this cool stuff we're going to do. We're definitely going to collaborate with guys like Brennan and everyone a little bit more on some things as well, because we got to spread the knowledge, spread the, I don't know, get the communities intertwined a little bit and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, excited. Thank you guys so much as always. An hour and a half ago, and you said I was late. Yeah, we long form. You know, we've been going for 3, so it's crazy. Appreciate all you guys being here. MJS Cheese, love that. I wish this one day Restream will show me these damn things so I could actually show my little emojis on here. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you next time, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. See you then.